Welcome everybody to our latest session of the Restoration of Cariele. As usual, we're going to do a quick recap of what occurred last week, and then we will get started. So team, you will probably remember last week when we picked up, you guys were in the quote-unquote haunted house inside Carolinian's city limits. You guys had been inside the house already, having already fought a woman who you eventually learned was named Chelena, and you guys were uncovering pieces of the house. You had run into the intelligent, or at least capable of speech, cat and niece. You guys had fought some opponents there, and you were kind of mostly wrapping things up, but decided to kind of poke into the back part of the house. Once you got to the back part of the house, you, specifically Serena, could start to hear the singing of a lullaby coming through one of the doors. Some people noped out of that real quick, but Serena was brave and decided to open the door, where she spotted a very young looking girl, maybe 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that age range. And it looked like she had bluish eyes, though they weren't visible immediately because she kept her head down to her knees. So as the Serena and the group kind of coaxed her out, with some concerns, as Blixa looked to her with his divine sense, was able to tell that she was in fact undead. She did make her way out. She wasn't immediately hostile, so the team handled her kind of with kid gloves, trying to be real careful. She asked Blixel to pick her up and carry her, and he was not down for that. But eventually Serena did agree to just reach a hand out and kind of walk with her. And she said, this little girl essentially said that she just wanted to go home. She wanted to go back to rest. And so she escorted Serena out the front door to the lawn, over to where this big dead tree is. And once she got there, she asked to play, and the team decided they didn't want to play with her. So she seemed a little bit disappointed, but then she very quickly and obviously magically sunk into the earth, pulling Serena down with her as she did so. Due to her size, the child was buried immediately, but Serena was only about halfway buried. So the rest of the team started trying to do what they could to pull her out of this dirt, thinking of different ways to extract her from this earth. But unfortunately, that wasn't successful immediately, and Serena was pulled down even farther, found herself completely buried in the dirt. Once again, the team tried to get her out as best they could, but surprisingly, it was Serena herself, through a burst of strength, was able to break through this dirt and emerge alive, and once again able to breathe, and no longer clutched by this child. Exited. You guys then were thankful for that, of course. Decided to then make your way back into the house, check out the basement. The basement was mostly empty. There's a couple odds and ends here, a couple like casks of wine, some other random things. But there was also 4 pegs, one in each wall, and it looked as though they were about an inch by an inch. The team got the impression that something could be stuck between them, almost like maybe 2 beams, like wood beams would sort of slot in on either side. What exactly the purpose for that is hard to say. But with that complete, the team decided to make their way over to where the body of the woman was, that again later learned was Chelena. Unfortunately, the body was gone. Upon closer inspection, there was discovered some writing in blood saying something along the lines of I'll be seeing you soon. And this obviously let the team know that Chelena had some additional tricks up her sleeve, most likely, because she was no longer there. With this knowledge, the team decided to make their way back and head over back to the castle, having had this very strange event. Once the team made their way back to the castle, they spent some time kind of catching up on the various odds and ends of just regular work that counselors have to do. There was also some conversation with Lord Tannen, as well as the fate of his nephew, Blade Bosch. What exactly was going to happen to him. In the sort of background, we had Celine writing a letter, essentially expressing her points of view and handing that over, I believe, to Lord Tannen to allow him to take a look at it first. And then Lord Tannen was totally comfortable with that. The team also, I think actually before the castle, went over to the Hogshead Bar to just kind of check in there, knowing that Blade had previously been there. And spoken to Fran, and this is where the contact apparently met Blade and then put him up to this whole kidnapping task of Celine. So once the team was there, Tavern was surprised to notice a gentleman enter who was fairly tall and seemed to be on the younger side, but very well dressed. Eventually, a friend let Tavern know that this gentleman was a lord from Moriad, and he was a friend of a friend, in a sense. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there. But he was a friend of a friend, and he would love to speak to Tavern if Tavern could spare the time. And so Tavern did just that, walked over to his table and got to know him a little bit better. He was introduced to Lord Stefan Windrus. Stefan Windrus is, again, from Moriad. He had explained that he was a friend of Franco's, and that's how he kind of got connected to Tavern, and that he's very interested in Tavern's background, being a Mercaladian dwarf who actually seems to be rational and sane and not just immediately trying to kill everybody he sees. And this had sort of led Lord Stefan Windrus into this concept that maybe not all Mercaladian dwarves are as evil as what has been portrayed. Maybe there's a bit more nuance there. Maybe they're just victims of circumstance and so forth. So as somewhat academically inclined, he was wanting to pick Tavern's brain and try to get as much information as he could. And sort of as a repayment for this, he mentioned that he was actually good friends, or at least friends, you could say, with the guild master of Brew Kajik, the individual there who controls all the guild activity in the Dwarven lands, and that he could arrange a meeting between the two of them if that would interest Tavern. And so this seemed to spark off pretty well between the two. Eventually, Tavern agreed that he would come back and speak with Lord Stefan Windrus at another time, probably a couple of more times, just kind of in the intervening downtime, in order to, kind of fill him in on more details, explain sort of the background of what occurs in Mercalad, and so forth. Eventually, Tavern then came back to the table, and the group reconnected, and after eating and drinking their fill at the Hog's Head, then made their way back to the castle. And they were pretty quickly summoned by the Countess, who explained that she was feeling this kind of strange sensation, and some of the team felt it as well, which ultimately the group realized was a forging of a ley line was being attempted between an area in the Five Peaks and to Cariele, specifically Riverford. The team then had to decide what exactly to do as far as how much regency to spend to try to prevent this from happening. And they spent quite a lot, but unfortunately, even though it was only a 5% chance, the forging still succeeded, and that ley line was forged between Flood's Path and Riverford, which allows the eyeless one who owns that source to now cast realm spells in Riverford, and probably based on the potential source level of Flood's Path, probably quite potent spells, in fact. So the team was obviously very worried about this and already tried to come up with some countermeasures of what to do during their next action. In addition to this, the team also was able to speak with Catherine Lunadream. She's the individual or bounty hunter who eventually tracked down the criminal from Moriad who had stolen a breastplate, a mithril breastplate, and then took it through Cariele and perhaps even out of Cariele. She was obviously happy to be back, and she was kind of insistent on being hired at some point by the council and giving her some more work to do. And she definitely made sure to remind the council that she had done this job completely gratis because she wanted to prove her worth. And so she was going to get some R&R, and then within a few days be back up to speed and be looking for some more employment. Lastly, the team did manage to identify the gemstone that they had discovered, specifically Tavern had discovered in the house in Carolinium, and it was discovered to be the gem Rukion, the hero stone Rukion, I should say. The team had a little discussion there about who should possess that, and there was a little bit of jostling of the hero stones around. But yeah, the team, that's where we ended. That's the best of my recollection. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add that I did not?
I don't know if it was on the session, but I just want to remind everybody I wrote, what's his name? Gordon wrote the letter to Moriad explaining that we have the bad guy and the breastplate, and wanted to coordinate with the emissary coming into Cariele.
Yes, indeed. Go ahead and take inspiration there, Gordon. Right, so that diplomatic communication has been sent to the board. No response so far. Obviously, these things do take some time at times, so we will see if any or what response is forthcoming. Anybody else have something they want to add?
Hey, Adam, I don't think this is inspiration worthy, but I'm just mentioning it in case it comes up, so just admitting that up front. But the guy, Stefan Windris, did mention that he too was going to be going to the wedding. And also, I would assume that because you had said that maybe during the week I had spoke to him a few times. At one time, I had said I would not let him know we're going to the wedding. But if I wanted learning to trust him, I eventually, just to let you know, I would have said, "Hey, yeah, we're planning on going to." Again, not sure if it means anything or not, but just throwing out there in case it wraps into the adventure.
You're a horrible salesman.
Throw me a blind check just real quick on that, because you say if you trust him. So I'm gonna use that blind check to gauge whether or not Tabard trusts this guy in the few times, a couple hours here and there that you've met and spoken with him. I would say you don't get any strong reading one way or the other. He certainly seems to be, um, very, very eager to speak with you and learn things, but you don't get a strong read on him one way or the other. With that in mind, do you reveal that information to Stefan Windris?
No, I'll keep it. I'll keep it under my belt just in case. But
Okay.
yep, sounds good.
All right,
Thanks.
fair enough. Yeah, no worries. All right, anything else recap wise anybody wanted to add before we move on?
I thought that was inspirational, just so you know.
Well, I just don't know if it's like a later plot hook kind of thing, right?
It
So
just may be. Yeah, I feel like because he was mentioned, probably not inspiration worthy, but it's a good reminder. Okay, so if there's nothing else, let me go ahead and deal a card out to everybody.
big money, big money, big money.
Okay, so everybody has your card. Take a moment to review that. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and get you guys back over to... I'm going to put you guys in Carolinian map, just to represent that you guys are, of course, here in the capital city. You guys have only really been here a day. But I think to make this easy, let's go ahead and advance to the next day. So we're going to move to the 15th. You guys can all get a short rest, or I mean a long rest, so I'll go ahead and apply that to you. Okay, so that should then be applied. And then if there's anything else you have to restore manually based on a long rest, please do so. And yeah, so you guys are in the city at this point, and you guys have a few days. I think it's 4 more days until the next session of council. And as we talked at the end of last session, that these were going to be kind of fast forward days in a sense. Little things may happen here and there, but I did want to just ask during these, like roughly 4 days of downtime till the next session of council, was there anything specific anybody wanted to be doing?
So Adam, I'll be saying I can't remember what the god's name is, but I am curious on the deity with the emblem that I have, Munaman Duathal. So that's somebody that Tabard has grown an interest to, kind of a similar liking. So I may be just doing some reading on him.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, tracking down a book on his religion and philosophy and that sort of thing and trying to educate yourself. Yeah, you could certainly do that.
Yeah, it's just downtime activity in case I ever decide to cross train. Right.
Fair enough.
Can I go shopping for a magic item? I know it's a downtime activity officially, but just asking.
Well, I mean, you can always go shopping for magic items. Just what's there is very random as what's available. So, give me an idea of the type of shop that you're wanting to go to.
Yeah, it would be a utility, maybe a magic shop. Specifically, I'm specifically looking for goggles of night or something to help with my inferior human genome.
Okay, so sort of like a general magic item trader. Sure. Go ahead and throw me a blind check here, Gordon. Okay, based on that check, you spend some time in that day looking around for that item specifically. The shop that you go to does not have that item specifically. Are you asking about this item as well? Like saying, hey, is there any way to get this?
Yes, I'm absolutely focused and letting it be known that to anyone I meet, hey, you know, if it comes around, if there's anyone who pops around, I'm really interested in this.
Okay, so one of the shopkeepers you speak to will let you know that, yeah, this item's not like super rare or anything, so they could certainly get you one eventually, but you know, special ordering it's going to take some time and it's going to usually have a higher cost than you would normally expect. So she would then ask you, how much money are you working with?
I'm working with about 400 gold pieces.
And she looks pretty disappointed at that, and then she says, I don't think I'd be able to help you. You know, getting the item here, making sure that it comes, the protection, all of that's just really expensive. I just tell you, you're kind of looking more in the like 1,000 gold piece range to get it special order delivered here for you. But if you can wait, just check back. I do get pairs probably once every 3 months or so that just kind of randomly come in.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll work it out. Thanks for helping me out, and have a nice day.
All right, and you make your way out of that shop. Okay, anything else anybody's wanting to tackle? Okay,
I'd like to purchase some javelins.
Yeah, sir. Oh, yeah. Anything PHB that's not like special, feel free to do any of that kind of purchasing. You're in, I won't say a capital city. It's technically a capital city, but it's not like a massive city. But certainly has anything in the PHB you might want.
Do we need to put that in chat whenever we're doing it, or just
No,
do
your
it?
own personal gold. I trust you to manage, right? And especially if it's something that small. Yeah, no worries.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm going to advance one day. So we're going to move to the 16th. Okay, and on the 16th, Gordon, what would you be doing? And feel free to just be creative on this. At around, let's say 6 in the morning.
Oh, 6 in the morning. I am sleeping, and I probably have one leg out of the sheet, right? And maybe touching the floor, maybe not being that creative, but yeah, I have a little morning in a little half daze going on in my bed still. Yeah.
All right, so in your half days, as you're lying in your bed, this suddenly happens.
Oh, let me read this. Okay. My reaction would be jump out, full naked sleeping. What? What? Oh my god. Maybe a little stressed, and I might want to take a moment to think about that. As I don't jump to conclusions right away, I calm myself and maybe spend a moment thinking about that, what I heard in my mind.
Fair enough. Well, because we're kind of moving quickly through downtime, you said you want to think for a moment, but is there some action you would like to take today? I'm just saying that real
Yes.
general. Okay.
Yeah,
And what would
that's what I'm
that be,
thinking.
roughly?
I'm going to think. I'm looking through some stuff that I have prepared. I'm trying to read. I want to see if there's some divination stuff or
All right, how
archery
about this?
stuff.
Feel free to take a little bit of time thinking about it, because
Yeah.
during that same day, this is later in the day, but we can like bounce back in time here, and we'll be a little bit loose on the clock. But later in that day, Celine, as you are in your room in the castle, there is a knock on your door.
What time is it?
Let's say this is about 10 a.m.
Okay. I will go to the door and I'll leave it locked, and I will. I guess I'll stand a bit back because Celine's still kind of paranoid after almost being killed repeatedly. So she'll stand a bit back from the door and she'll say something to the effect of, "Who is it?"
And through the door, you'll hear, I got a delivery for it.
Do I need to sign for it? Like, is this FedEx? Who is this?
No, it's serving in the castle. Do you want me to just leave it here on the front on the background?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll get to it in a bit. I'm in the middle of something.
Okay, have a good day. And if you're standing by the door, you'll hear the sound of footsteps walking away.
All right. Remind me the layout of this place. I know there's a balcony that I can go to, and there's like shutters into the hallway. Do I think I would be able to see the outside of my room from the shutters, like the outside of the door?
Ah, okay. Well, yeah, with that in
I don't.
mind, let me go ahead and throw you on that map just so you can see exactly what you'd see. The rest of the team, I'm going to keep you guys in the council chambers. That's kind of where you guys left off. That might be where you're at about 10 a.m. Might not. No big worries there.
Okay, reorienting myself very quickly. So this here should be the door to the balcony, I believe.
It is indeed.
Yeah. So I'm gonna poke around here.
Somebody probably delivered you a mimic or something, so.
It could be, So I'm gonna try to finagle this. I don't remember exactly where the. I guess I can peek my token around. Oh, it's way over there. Yeah. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to see the hallway exactly. Oh no, I can see. I can see a door. I don't know if that's my door.
That is not
But
your door.
if I like, I can't really get the token to sit on a spot where I could
Are you going to
potentially
try
see.
to stand in front of the shutters, open them, and then wedge your head through so you can see what's by your door?
I would love to do that.
All right, and that's when you notice the blade above the shutters. No, I'm totally kidding. All right, you look to the east to your door, and yes, on the ground in front of your door, you see that there is a vase with flowers in it.
It's a bomb. Blow it up. Um. Well, the last time they tried to poison me, so I guess I'll come around and I will open the door. I'll find something to like cover my face and nose and stuff, suspecting treachery. But I'm kind of getting the feeling that this is not treachery at all, but you're just trying to make me paranoid. But just to be safe.
Okay, as you
And then
open the door, you see next to the, like basically the jam between this door and the other door is where the flowers are actually sitting in the vase. Yeah, it looks like a very nice collection of flowers. You see that they're orange, pink, blue, purplish, and like another kind of lighter pink, and it also kind of ends yellowish, and a little bit of a lot more greenery, kind of all surrounding that, making it really pop out all these various colors. And you can see that there is a piece of rolled up parchment and a small amount of string that are tied to the parchment, and they're kind of sitting in the middle of the flowers.
I will. How big is the vase? Do I think I could pick it up
Oh,
with Mage Hand?
yeah, I would say it's 5 pound limit, right?
Sure. It's 5 or 10. I don't remember which. I'll go with 5.
I would say, yeah, with 5 pounds, it's probably right there.
Sure. I'll pick it up with Mage Hand, and I'll move it over to like a desk or something. Actually, I'll leave the vase and I'll pick up the note with Mage Hand. How about that? That's much easier.
That'll certainly work, yeah.
And assuming no poison leaks out, I will try to finagle it open on the desk with the Mage Hand over here.
Okay, yeah, I would say you'd be able to do that. So you take out the string, and yeah, you notice this piece of parchment kind of unfurls a bit, but it's still kind of rolled up because obviously it's been rolled up for a while.
All right, and if no toxic gas comes out trying to kill me, I will go over and I'll wait like a few seconds and I'll go over and read it.
Okay, and you notice a very brief note that says, "Please accept our deepest apologies." And on the bottom, you see it says the Bosch family.
Very sweet. So I will go collect the vase and I'll put it somewhere where I can keep it safe.
Okay, putting the flowers back in the vase and keeping them like a normal person would, you mean?
I never took the flowers out. I just took the.
Oh,
you
right,
know,
right. Yes, my bad.
note.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, you retrieve the vase with the flowers, then you bring them in and just set them on like a desk, you said.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will say you notice that they are quite fragrant, very pleasant smells, wildflower kind of smells.
Very nice. I will. While I'm here, I will tend to them, as necessary. But we're probably gonna leave pretty soon, so.
Okay, fair enough. Bouncing back to Gordon. Gordon, have you decided what you wanted to do at 6 a.m. after receiving that?
Yeah, I'll just keep it in my mind and think about it. But we're in the chambers, so maybe we're meeting up right now. Is when I'll feel comfortable mentioning what happened to me this morning.
Okay, fair enough. So once we get to the time where everybody's gathered, then we'll go ahead and bounce back to you. So let's see.
Okay.
On that same day, just check my notes here. Actually, no, that will be the next thing. So, Saline, I'm going to assume just for East that all of you are basically summoned back to the chambers, just, touching base with each other, making sure you're all on the same page. I'm going to slide you back over, Saline. All right, and Lord Tannen is here as well, just doing some bookkeeping, but of course he can leave if you don't need him. You guys have arrived back in the council chambers, like I say, just to do a quick touch base.
How did everyone sleep? Good night.
Oh yeah, real comfy.
As well as
Always.
can be considered.
Always good, and 24-hour fitness was open, so got my workout in.
No, I don't actually. I actually don't work out at all. It's funny. But anyway, so I had the strangest thing happen to me this morning. There I was, thinking about absolutely nothing early in the morning. And anyway, a voice came into my head, and it was a message from Chelina. Was that girl that we killed in that house?
Self-defended.
Oh yeah, right, of course. Anyway, she told me, just me, free my master's minion, or see your people die horribly. And the next time we meet, you, and it was this emphasis on specifically me, you talking about me, will be paralyzed while I flinch you. And that's what took me a moment before it came to you guys. I had to figure out what the word flinch meant.
And
What
what
does
come
it
up
What does it
on
mean?
mean?
that?
It means they're gonna skin me alive while I'm paralyzed.
Oof.
Wow, that's a fancy word for that.
Yeah.
I got a question for you now. Is that if you free the person, they're still going to flinch you, or is it only if you don't? I mean, we got to understand the threat.
So yeah, the way that it was communicated, it wasn't a comma, it was a period. So it was like, free my master's minion, or see your people die horribly. And then there was like a pause. So I'm assuming their punctuation matters. So I was like a period. And then it says, and the next time we meet, you will be paralyzed while I flinch you. So I'm not interested in seeing this chick ever again.
Yeah, what'd you do to her?
I
First
don't know.
Celine, now you?
I was just helping you guys. I don't even think I did anything to her, did
Oh,
I?
she's referencing when you cast Hold Person on her, and
Oh,
we won the fight like instantaneously because of it. So she's
yeah,
real salty about that.
yeah. Oh, paralyzed. I get it. I see
Yeah.
what you did there. See, you're
Uh,
so
Mm,
smart, Celine.
So maybe you need to find an amulet of magic that'll make it so you can't be paralyzed. So then that way, this vision of yours can't come true.
Oh, perfect.
yeah,
Yeah,
you need an anti-flencer.
Yep.
yes, yeah, that's a great idea. So glad it came to you guys with this.
Sure,
More to the
someone's got a
point.
protection from flensing.
More to the point. What are we going to do about Minerva? It seems like he has this he cares way more about this than I thought he would. Just one servant. So,
Right.
but that pretty much makes it clear why he's upset with us. I think that's beyond doubt now.
Yeah, but he's also doing stuff, right?
Yeah. So
We all felt that.
do you think we have a bargaining chip here?
Not since he established that ley line.
Well,
I mean,
maybe we could deal with the ley line with getting this Minerva chick over, releasing her. Kind of like a, this for that. What do they call it? A quid pro quo. How's that for a word, Celine?
Mm.
Mm.
Serena, I mean.
Yeah, you can explain that one.
No, I don't know what it means.
They don't sound like the most reasonable people. I doubt they would say, okay, you released her, so I'm not going to cast mass destruction on your realm.
Yeah, but you guys kicked the shit out of the person that was supposed to be over here. I'm sorry. Kicked the crap out of this person who was supposed to intimidate us and kill Celine and free the minion. we got some power here, right? Am I wrong?
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm
Not
more
in
inclined to
realm spell,
go
though.
fight this guy rather than let him get away with his stuff.
Yeah, I'll tell you, part of the, let's just say hypothetically, if you make a deal with like a fiend or something like that, and you go to their realm or whatever, they're still going to try to, trick you no matter how much you try to help them out, not saying any personal knowledge or history there, but, yeah, so I don't think it's going to matter one way or another. Next time we see him, I think she's still going to try to kill us, so whatever.
We
How
should
come she
try to.
didn't? Sorry, Celine. How come she didn't die? What did you? What are your thoughts on that? Should we have just smashed her head into pulp?
Um, I'm not sure what happened. Obviously, there's some manner of necromantic magic going on here. She was a talented necromancer, though they're not usually able to raise themselves. But clearly, she had some kind of magical effect on her that prevented her death when we thought we had killed her.
Next time we burn her alive.
Yeah, 100%. Flensing, boys and girls.
Yeah,
Flensing.
yeah, we'll flinch her or
Yes.
something.
I don't think I can be there for that.
I can.
It makes me queasy in my stomach.
Well,
I like a good straight fight, you know what I mean? But if you guys got to do that, I'm okay with it. I wanted to take her hostage last time.
circling back around to the problem at hand, obviously even if we agree to do this for release the prisoner for the eyeless one. I mean, obviously we can't have this ley line hanging over our heads forever. There's no guarantee he'll uphold his end of the bargain, but so we're going to have to deal with it one way or another eventually. But I am concerned about the threat to our people. I know this woman tried to kill one of us, but I don't think we have the leverage you think we do. As long as the threat of of him casting potentially dangerous realm spells over our province exists. I suppose we could try to destroy his source before taking action here, but the longer we wait, the more chances are that he's just gonna rip it, and then we have to deal with the consequences. So, loath as I
Yeah.
am to say it, we may want to play along for just a few days. Um, so long as we are able to keep her away from Serena and get her out of the capital. I believe her mission was to hunt down some white that crossed through Cariele. I don't think they're still here, from what I remember. So if we're able to get her out of the city um, without triggering her compulsion to attack us, I think that might be what we have to do, and then we can work on removing the eyeless one's ability to threaten us further at a later date.
So the
Hmm.
ley line is probably the means upon which your people die horribly.
Yes,
Yeah.
he
Is that
intend
a thing? What's this ley line? Can it kill people horribly?
he using it. He can cast spells that will affect the entire province. So I don't know what spells he has access to, but given that he's making this threat quite brazenly, I think I think we definitely should take it seriously.
Yeah.
But they were in the works of doing that anyway. So I mean, what's to stop them? I mean, they obviously had the intent anyway.
Yes, but how? What benefit is there to us to
Poke the bear.
keep this one person from him, uh, against potentially the safety and the lives of thousands, tens of thousands? How many people live in Korea?
But I'm just saying, I don't think. I think they're going to do it anyway. I mean, that's well, and another thing. I mean, we just had someone who was very successful on a mission. Maybe we can hire her to track down maybe some location of some of these cult folks and, maybe give us some, try to see if she can find some more information. She was very successful in getting the breastplate back with very little information.
That is true. However, you will remember in the conversation we did float the idea. I believe it was Blixel who name dropped the eyeless one as a potential other target, and she said she wanted nothing to do with it. That she had heard too many things. That he was far beyond her power level. Now, I'm not saying that's what you're suggesting. We could deploy her for reconnaissance, perhaps, as long as she doesn't get in direct conflict with anyone. But
What about for Charlena? We send her after Charlena. That seems more along the lines of what a bounty hunter could maybe do.
mm, potentially, we would definitely need to share everything we knew about her capabilities so that
Oh yeah, yeah,
Commander
yeah.
could make an
But
informed
but
decision.
the threat isn't Charlena. The threat is the eyeless one. Clearly, he's going to keep sending Charlenas, and he does air quotes, until we give up Minerva. Is that her name? To the eyeless one. It's just going to keep coming. But you're right. Like Tavard, like who's to say that this guy is like, okay, no, I'm not going to destroy your people. Thanks a lot. But you're right. You're also right, Saline. Like, what value? What's the risk? Is it worth the reward that we risk by keeping Minerva here? What are we gaining from this?
I believe, um, from everything we've learned from Minerva, that she has a mission that's important to the Eyeless One that is largely unrelated to us. Um, it is very possible that now that he has this Lee line, yes, he'll do it anyway, but he may have other priorities that he's looking into, that he would rather do. Um, Casting a realm spell or instructing a lieutenant to do so would take action on his part. And if we play along and release this woman off on her quest in such a way that it doesn't threaten our lives again, of course, she says, nodding to Serena, then I think the risk to many thousands of people uh, outweighs whatever benefit we have from continuing to hold her.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's simple enough to me. Give up Minerva right away.
Maybe we escort her out of the city, though.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Or we could lop her head off.
There's
No
no bad
bad-
idea.
Yeah, no bad options here. Yep.
I stand up and write on the whiteboard. Okay, cut off her head. Release her. Have we like hired that interrogator girl to torture her for a minute?
She
Yeah.
doesn't torture. She
Oh
just
yeah, that's
interrogates.
This was the woman she was plying her trade on for the vast majority of the.
okay.
Yes.
But what if we get Chalindra? And we, like, break her fingers so then she can't cast spells.
I write that on the board.
But yes, I think we've gained all the information we could out of Minerva as well. My vote is to release her under care of not being in the city and having to leave.
And if she comes back, she loses her head.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
The only thing I really wanted to figure out from her is how exactly to get to the eyeless one's place. Because she's
That
been
makes
there,
sense.
right?
Yes, we can ask Miss West for the specific details of what she learned. The impression I got was that there was some kind of magical
Like amnesia.
hindrance going on to prevent her from being able to disclose like an exact route. But
I had that once when the horse kicked me in the head.
Of
I'm
course,
sorry to hear that.
part of the big question I wish we knew the answer to, and I don't know if we will, is why is it so important that the eyeless one gets her back?
Might just be a power thing with these eyeless peeps.
Maybe he's in love with her.
Well, he sent her off to do a mindless search for this person to kill him. Or
Yeah,
White or whatever.
but that doesn't mean they don't have other people they can send. I mean, if she must be more important than just that.
And relationships are complicated. Maybe, she kept nagging him. I want to do something, and he's like, "No, I want you to stay in the house and cook me food." And then it just was just exhausting after a while. Because fine, why don't you go harass this girl named Serena?
Yeah, don't put that one on the board.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's have a vote. Who wants to release her after we get that information out of her?
I think we must. I think if we don't act and bad things happen to the people, that will be on all our consciences and worse. And if he does it anyway, well, we can at least say we tried.
Fard, what say you?
Oh, I'm torn right now. I'm thinking we should probably at least try to have someone follow her, even though it may be. I mean, if you're gonna let her go, maybe we should try to get someone to follow. But I mean, my gosh, that's dangerous too. But can we at least hit her around a few times first? I mean, anyway, yeah, I'll wait.
It's a good idea. I was thinking that too. Maybe we could hire. Wasn't there a tracker that came by? Hey, Lord Tannen, was there a tracker or some type of person who came up to, I don't know, D and I don't know what happened before I came on here.
You see, he turns in your direction, Gordon. Ooh, someone in particular? Was this a petitioner you're thinking of?
Yeah, maybe. Do you guys remember a petitioner, like a tracker or someone like that?
There was a hunter, I remember him, but that seemed more like wilderness type stuff, but I don't know. I mean, maybe there was. I don't remember.
You can certainly look through the records and see if anything like that jumps out.
I remember somebody. Maybe it was a spy person. But I'd be willing to spend some money, since we have a ley line. I would be willing to spend something from the treasury if we're going to release her, to hire a petitioner, whoever came by, to see where she goes. We at least get intel out of this.
I
Okay.
trust your guys' judgment. I tend to hold grudges.
We will see to
Well.
it that you come to no harm.
She stabbed you in your sleep, so I don't blame you. But
The only petitioner I see, Gordon, that could perhaps match what it is that you're talking about would be Catherine Lunadream, the one who tracked down the thief from Orion.
Oh, yeah.
she did say she wanted a job.
There we go. She did. Simple one. There's no apprehension. Intel gathering only.
How long do you want her to follow her? Like a week?
As long as it takes. We have a
So
ley
what?
line. We got a ley line from this powerful eyeless one into our region. We have a powerful bargaining chip that they're willing to do all kinds of shit for. We're gonna let her go. We should invest into this op, that we at least know where this. I mean, he's like the really clear enemy of Cariele right now. Even those goblin people over there. I mean, they just walked across our lands. This is an actual invasion of. You guys call regency something, and that sounds poor and horrible death to our people. So
Lord Tannen looks at you, Gordon, kind of like purses his lips for a moment. I wouldn't say the goblins simply walked across our lands. Remember, many of our soldiers died in that battle.
oh no, I wasn't here. Sorry. Is that I sometimes for a cleric I seem a bit crass.
Okay. I mean, I feel like she might be very expensive. So, in case this Minerva chick doesn't know what she's supposed to do and just goes back to her mission of trying to find this person, we might want a cheaper alternative. Just she gives me. I haven't found out how much she costs, but just she gives me the impression that this first one free means that the second one's going to cost a whole boatload.
Well, if she's good at what she does, you pay for quality. But you're right, we don't know yet, right? So
I'm all for having someone, tailor or something like that, but maybe some of Tavard's little birdies can do something.
You know, this Charlena girl, she talked in my head, and I didn't ask for her to. Why?
Should I just summon a guard to do that? City watch person?
No, I mean, can Charlena just talk to Minerva? Do you think she has been? Do you think,
Mm.
it's like, why me? And if Charlena could just do that, then if she's after Minerva, why isn't Charlena talking to Minerva at 6 a.m. while she's naked in her bed thinking about nothing in particular?
Well, I love the honesty. I appreciate the sharing there. But maybe she has been talking to her.
Yeah.
She's still locked up, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, there's not a lot Minerva can do about her own situation.
and I mean, this may be just this one here could go on the whiteboard, Gordon. We don't know, but
Okay, I stand up.
there's some potential here, right? But what about the rat folks? We haven't really utilized them, and we're maybe we could pay them with some scrap metal or something if you're talking cheap.
yeah, but I'm trying to get her out of the city. If she I don't want her anywhere near Serena.
You think the rat folks would follow Minerva?
I just said put it on the board. I don't
Okay,
know.
I want them to know exactly. I just put rats, and now I want to put something. Follow.
Question mark rats.
Rats follow Minerva. Got it. 3 things on the board. It's pretty good.
Yeah, we haven't asked him.
That's if we. I think that's also if we let her just still be in the city. Because if you see a rat, like they go under the sewers. If you saw one of those rat folk out while you're just on the road, I think you would freak out.
Or maybe they are out on the road and we can't see them because they're very good at stealth.
Oh man, I'm not gonna sleep tonight because of that.
I don't know.
All right, so it sounds like we're pretty much in agreement to release her, but just keep an eye on her.
I think that's best.
And then we figure out a way to dismantle the power that the eyeless one has here.
One thing true though, we have to do this. I agree, but once you start doing the bidding of some BBEG guy with no eyes, he's just gonna keep asking.
Yeah, unless you get a divorce.
Well, we're gonna have to take care of him eventually. But right now, if he can threaten everybody here, we gotta put a stop to that first.
Lord Tannen looks around to you all and says, well, we are close to the next session of council. We could always invite Catherine Lunadream there and see what her fee would be and let her know what it is you'd like her to do. But based on the nature of this message, I don't know that you have the 4 days to wait. Do you want me to try to track Miss Lunadream down for an emergency meeting today?
Excellent idea.
Yeah,
I agree.
and let's get Minerva ready to be possibly released. Get everything in place for that, but don't do it yet.
Maybe if we break her leg, she'll be slower walking too, easier to. I'm just throwing out ideas.
All right,
It's true.
Under rats is break her legs.
Lord Tannen stands up and he's pointing at Blixel. He says, I'll take care of those 2 things, as he looks at Tabard, and then I will be right back.
All right.
I wonder if he was going to go break her
You see him like putting on boxing gloves.
What was one of those 2 things? I don't know. It could be a lot of 2 things. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're gonna have to deal with this guy at some point, and it would be nice we could take over his territory.
One step at a time. Right now we've got I won't say gun because I don't think guns exist in this world, but we've got a crossbow to our heads, and we gotta do what we have to do to make him not pull the trigger, or convince him not to pull the trigger. He might do it anyway, but
Or her, right?
Do any of us have a way to speak to people like the way Chalina did?
I do.
So we could talk to them, theoretically.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk to her. It has to be someone, I think,
Yeah, someone you know, right?
someone
like
with whom I'm familiar. So
Yeah, that's powerful stuff. She doesn't have my fingernail or hair or blood sample. How did she do that?
it's crazy what you can find out about people online with just a little digging.
Well, that might go a long way to sort of sell this if we tell you, hey, we are going to release her, please, we come in peace or whatever.
All right, let's give you guys a heads up. It's about 2 hours before Lord Tannen returns. You can continue discussing if you wish. If you'd like me to fast forward to that, let me know.
I just put there in Discord Adam what she said since I fully disclosed it.
Yep, yeah, no worries. Okay, hearing nothing, then the 2 hours have elapsed and Lord Tannen has returned. He will make his way back into the chambers and let you know that he did indeed track down Catherine Lunadream, and she would be happy to meet you for an audience in the throne room in 20 minutes.
All right. See, Buxel immediately starts like straightening up.
Where'd
You
he
guys are
go?
doing it. You guys are doing a great job out here. Buxel gives him each a gold piece. Make sure to keep us safe.
The guards are very thankful as you do that, and you see they look at it with smiles on their faces. All right, so Lord Tannen will escort you guys over to the chambers there with throne room. Geez, I couldn't think of the word. The throne room chambers, where you will be meeting with her. He will then kind of let you know that Catherine is, you can tell, or he can tell, but after these meetings with her, she's looking for sort of that prestige that comes about. Like, obviously, she could have just met you in the council chambers, but there's not a whole lot of prestige there. So he's getting the impression that, she's very impressed by, opulence and prestige and so forth. All right, as you guys make your way over to the throne room, Lord Tannen and you all are there. And as a reminder, you guys are in that sort of typical setup where there's a table nearby. You guys sit at it, and then the petitioner, or in this case, this just guest, is going to arrive. And yeah, he lets you know that she is indeed there, ready to go. Can he let her in, or is there any preparations you want to make first?
No one can read minds or anything, right? I guess we trust her. Let her enter.
Okay, moments later, after Lord Tannen gives the order, Catherine Lunadream does indeed enter the throne room, and you hear a little bit of fanfare as like trumpet players announce her arrival, and you see she has a smile on her face as she steps forward. Last time you saw her, she looked a little bit road weary, a little bit over-traveled, but she certainly looks much more rested now, and she has this easy smile on her face as she approaches, and she says, "Counselors, it is good to see you all again."
You as well, Miss Luna Dream.
You see she gives you a fairly significantly large smile towards you, Blixel. And then you see it kind of softens a bit as she takes in the rest of the area. She says, "I was told by your treasurer that you had something you wish to speak to me about. I hope it's work."
Indeed it is. We have a few possible exciting endeavors for you, but yes, it's all business.
And you see she puts on this slightly disappointed look and she says, "Well, business first, but it doesn't have to be all business."
Of course. Well, would you like to hear of the work?
I
And we can
certainly
discuss that
would.
other matter previous in a later time.
You see she smiles once again and says, "That sounds great."
And so are there other people listening to us while we're doing this?
So right now it's just you guys in the room and then a few guards stationed out. You, of course, can always order the guards to leave. That does happen on occasion if you want like private meetings and so forth. But yeah, in general, you can assume there's some guards and there's some attendants, like folks that carry wine glasses or water glasses back and forth in the throne room. It's kind of like, yeah, that kind of atmosphere.
All right, this is a bit of a delicate nature of your work. I'm going to dismiss the staff here for a bit, but a moment.
Lord Tannen nods towards you, and you see he makes those arrangements, going around letting the staff know that to please exit. And sure enough, you notice them all very respectfully, like set trays down. The guards just kind of turn very formally so and start marching out. And Within a moment or two, the throne room has been cleared, and Lord Tannen closes the doors, but he remains in. And then you see he pauses for a moment and looks back at you, like for confirmation that like it's okay that he stays in.
Big thumbs up from Blixel.
Lord Tannen does a smile and like almost like a relaxed, like, oh yeah, okay, good, and then kind of slowly walks back over.
All right. Here's the deal. The eyeless one is coming at us hard. He's got all these different people causing them ruckus. Now he wants us to release someone that I guess is under some spell to work for him.
Wow. Oh, that's not what I was expecting to hear, but this is somebody you have then, since you say you're releasing them. And what is it that you would need me to do, counselor?
Follow them after they are released. Make sure they do not cause harm to any of the citizens of our lands.
Is this a surreptitious following? You don't want me to be detected while I'm following them, or am I escorting them somewhere?
Yes, do not be detected. This is to see where they go, because again, they are under the control of this eyeless one, I believe.
She nods slowly, and you see she starts pacing back and forth at a really slow walk. And then she says, and this individual, are they particularly perceptive or very scared, very skilled, I should say, at spotting tails and people following them? Do you know?
They didn't seem quite like that, but they do have holy power of some kind.
Oh,
They're a
that's
good
no
fighter.
concern. Holy powers have never stopped me before. No worries there. Good fighter. Okay, that's very good to know. I'll make sure to stay out of arm's reach then.
Yes. So she might not be able to notice you very well. I know this might be beneath one of your skills. How do you feel about this job?
You see, she smiles again. Well, if the price is right, no job is beneath my skills.
And what is your going rate usually? I know the first one was free. I was hoping perhaps the second one would be twice as much.
You see, she gives a, you can even tell without a check, clearly a fake laugh. And then she says, oh, well, for these type of events, is this time issued? Or, for example, do you wish me to follow her for a week or 2 weeks? Or is it till she gets to a specific location? Let's understand when this ends.
And Blixel will look around the room to see what people think.
Well, ultimately, just want to know where she goes, where she ends up. To a place, to a different country, to those kind of things.
So if
So
she
it's
leaves
intelligence
the,
gathering.
and you see she nods. So if she leaves the borders of Cariele, then you don't want her followed any longer, or you want me to continue following her?
Well, that's a good question. Like I know some provinces are really hard to be safe in doing so. And we want you to be safe, so that's important. This is a risky mission for sure, but you know we like your work and we don't want to lose you.
And she
But
says, "Oh, don't worry. I want to be safe as well, so I won't take any
yeah,
unneeded risks."
okay, well that's good. So I guess it might be up to you, right, guys?
I I think our primary concern is making sure she leaves Cariele and is no longer a threat to us or our people. Whatever she does after that, we know what she's trying to do. We just don't know where exactly she's going.
But I would say if she does travel to the Five Peaks, it would be good to follow her into there.
Ooh, the Five Peaks. That is quite a dangerous area. Not a lot of civilization there. I could do so, but that would certainly increase the rate of pay. Let's explain it like this, counselors. If you wish me to follow her just to the borders of Cariele, I could do that for 5 gold pieces per day, however long that takes. I will ask for some upfront money just in case it takes her 2 weeks or a month to do that. However, if you wish me to go into the 5 peaks, then that's going to increase to 25 gold per day.
I think if she goes to the 5 peaks, she's probably returning to the eyeless one. I would rather know where she intends to follow, where she intends to go to try to apprehend the person that she's after. I think, I think if she returns to the 5 peaks, we can probably say it's okay to break it off. But if she goes somewhere
Okay.
else, then that would give us an idea of where this person of interest has gone as well.
Well, and I'll just say in the group, you know, if we know which direction she's going, I think as long as we know she's no longer in Cariele, I'm not even saying that just because the money's less. I'm just saying that because following someone for weeks on months doesn't really do us any good anyway.
I think you have the right of it. We know what she's trying to do. We just don't know how long it's going to take her or where exactly she's going. But again, my primary concern is getting her out of the country and away from people she may mean to do harm within our borders.
So just to the borders, right? It's kind of a good thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
I also want you should know, Lady London Dream, is that she may be meeting up with somebody who we've had a violent confrontation with. So maybe this person might be meeting in the wilderness somewhere on her way out. So she may leave the city alone, but I think she might meet up with somebody. And that would be good information as well.
And this
Eh,
person she may be meeting up with, how dangerous are they?
Very. A necromancer.
And you see she actually
Well,
grimaces.
well, I would say that
Well,
it's
spellcaster. We are actually inferring necromancy. I mean, like just casting spells.
My information revealed her to be a necromancer.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
I've got this spell in my head now, man. It can't stop thinking about it, all right? It's definitely
right.
necromancy.
Well, here's the problem. It's really speculatory that she's going to meet up with someone. It's speculatory on our end if this person's even going to meet up with the same person we've met up with. To be honest, I would just say worst case scenario, that could be true. But best case scenario, she may just get up and head to the border. We don't know.
I understand. Thank you for the information that you've provided, counselors. Let's put this at a 2-week mission. That would be 80 gold pieces. I will escort her from a distance and make sure she does indeed leave Cariele, go to the border as you suspect. If she does that, she might be able to get there in as quickly as 2 days. But this coin will cover that time, regardless if she doesn't make a straight line there or where she goes. I'll be on that task for that period of time. However, if she does indeed encounter this other individual that you think she may be meeting up with, if it seems as though they are still making their way for the border and not turning back to come to more the core of Cariele, I will break it off at that point. Because if this person is as dangerous as you say, one slip up could mean worse than death.
Yep. And if they turn around and come back to the city, then let us know.
If they even
I think
seem to be doing that, I will make my way back here as quickly as I can, which would be faster than them, I would be willing to bet. And I will make sure that you're aware.
deal. I think it's a great deal.
Indeed.
Excellent.
No objections.
When is it
I
that
think it
you
makes sense.
when is it that you intend to release this individual?
About an hour.
For the safety of our people, yes. Probably within the hour.
Oh,
Well-
that soon? No time to have a fun night before I leave then. Ah.
We'll keep the bars warm for you.
You see she smiles
Well-
once again. Yes, of course. That's totally fine. I can be ready to go in an hour. I shall wait here in the castle. I have all of the items and supplies that I'll need for this kind of a mission. So I will speak with your treasurer and collect that coin, or unless you wish to pay me here. You see Lord Tannen looks at you guys. In the past, typically for lower expenses like this, like far less than even half of a gold bar, you guys would cover that personally, but up to you how you want to handle this.
Blixel will take out 80 gold. No matter. It's but a pittance for someone such as myself.
Oh my god.
You notice she kind of smiles and arches an eyebrow a bit. Lord Tannen says, "Oh, yes, of course, counselor," as he accepts those coins from you, and then he walks them over to her, and you see she looks at them real quick and just traces her finger down the coins, counting them very rapidly, and then you see she smiles at you all and gives you an incline of her head, and she says, "Pleasure doing business with you, counselors. I will be waiting here in the castle for her to be released."
One more second before you leave. Do you mind if I bestow a blessing on you before you leave for your mission?
A blessing. I'm not familiar with that. What does it do?
Well, for a short period of time, it will at least, if something were to happen, at least I would know I've done my best to make sure that you come back to us. It's just a protection of dying, I guess. It's just something we do before we go on missions. I pretty much pop it off every time.
I'm not familiar with that, but it sounds quite powerful and potent. Sure.
Excellent. And in front of everybody, I'll make I don't know, make it ceremonious. It's I touch her with, no, I don't have to, verbal and somatic. I'm just, yeah, verbal and somatic. I'm just, touching her shoulders, saying a prayer over her, and casting death word.
It's like, oh, I don't have to touch her. So I touch her shoulders.
Yeah, well, it's somatic.
You don't have to, but when in
Somatic means
Rome.
you move your hands, right? So,
Oh, sorry.
but, oh, yeah,
I
the
was like,
spell says you touch a creature. So, yeah, of
oh,
course,
it
you
is
do
a
have to touch
yeah.
her. Okay, fair enough. So, all right, you cast a spell on her, and you see she kind of like blinks and looks around and says, did that work? Is it working?
Yep, it's all done. Pat her on the shoulder. Go be with Sarah.
She smiles again. She says, "Excellent. Was there anything else, counselors? Otherwise, I will just wait for word. And where will you be releasing her from? Is she? I assume she's in the prison. Is that right?"
We'll have the guards escort her to the gates, probably, and then send her on her way. Right? That seems to
Yeah,
make sense to make sure she leaves the city.
that's what I would prefer. She's dangerous, all right? Just be careful.
You notice Catherine nods once again, and Lord Tannis says, "I'm counselors. I'm happy to take care of those details for you. I'll speak with the guards, get her released. I'd already got that started, and then I'll make sure Miss Luna Dream is in position to be able to easily follow her out."
And it probably goes without saying, but remind her that she's not to come back into the city for reasons we've discussed.
I will certainly let her know, counselor.
All right. Question, just out of character and everything. Did we pay her the whole coins up front, or was it like half now, half later? I know she said she needs some to get started, but I just want to go ahead and confirm that because I'll put some of my coins into that as well. So Blixel, you don't have to pay the whole thing. I just want to. I just kind of assumed we were
Sure.
doing half now, half.
I mean, once she's out of the room, definitely Blixel will take some of the coins back.
But yeah, for the record, Blixel paid the full amount already.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to go ahead and confirm. All right, Blixel, I'm going to go ahead and give you. You said you paid 80. I'll go ahead and give you 40.
Oh, thanks, Davard.
All
I
right,
was just trying to be a big shot.
So Lord Tannen has exited the room with Catherine here, and those arrangements are underway. So you guys still have a few days before the next session of council. I can definitely move us back into fast forward moment, or yeah, I guess that's the best way to call it. Move it back into fast forward mode. That's the word I'm looking for. Geez, they're not coming today, guys. Fast forward mode. But is there again anything else you guys want to do before I move into fast forward?
Do we want to talk to Moriad about their relative and what he's doing? Meeting with the guild?
What are you referring to?
There's a briefing.
Was it in the previous thread?
RP chat. I see. Shane Moriad, the Moore's half brother. Still want them to fester an alliance, but
Oh, I see. If memory serves, we said we didn't want to do that because then they would ask questions of like how we found that out, and then we would have to like say
oh,
that we're spying on them. But
okay,
I mean,
cool.
if the situation has changed, if anyone would like to weigh in on that.
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't remember when we're heading off to the wedding or anything like that, or when we'll be seeing him next. But I mean, if we're sending missives out or whatever.
So,
I
quick
don't
calendar
think
check real quick. You guys are on the 16th day at the moment. You have the 20th as your next session of council, and the 24th is the wedding in Thoson. So you guys are planning to do your session of council and then leave that same day, because the trip between Carolinian to Sunderland is about 4 days. So you guys will get to the wedding basically just in time, as long as you leave, right after.
And when is the emissary supposed to arrive?
You don't have an exact day. It's very it was like vague, like, yeah, he's on his way. But then I believe the letter that Gordon sent said something about he's, to try to arrange the time because the prisoner was captured. So those exact preparations you're not quite clear on.
Okay. I mean, we can wait till the emissary or whatever. I just was like, I saw that. I was like, oh no, I forgot about this whole thing. That they might be hurting our best ally. But I say wait till the emissary arrives and we'll deal with it with him.
Makes sense to me.
Okay. If there's nothing else to discuss, I'm going to advance us one more day. So it is now the 17th. You guys are doing your typical, just, living your life and taking care of various duties. Serena, on this day, while you are out and about in the city, maybe you're stopping by to pick up food, or you're stopping at various shops and kind of chatting to folks. As you're kind of walking, you notice this woman spots you as you're moving through the city streets. And just for a little bit of theme here, I'll put us back over on the city map. So as you're moving through the city streets, you notice this woman spots you. She has kind of an interesting bearing about her. As you glance at her, you can't tell right away what nationality she is. She kind of looks just a little different. It's really hard to place. But you see she spots you and then seems to almost kind of like walk beside you for a moment. And then she's kind of like trying to noodle her way closer and closer to you.
I've never seen her before.
She's not familiar to you now.
As soon as I have a strong suspicion that she's following me, I whirl around and confront her.
I would say you have the suspicion almost right away, because it doesn't look like she's trying to hide that she's following you at all. So as you whirl around and confront her, you see she gives you a smile and she says, "Oh, it is you, General. It is very good to see you. I am Kina. Greetings."
Sorry, am I familiar with you?
"Oh, no, not yet. I'm familiar with you, of course, of your great work here in Cariele, but there was something I wanted to speak with you about. I apologize for just approaching you, but I didn't know when the next time I'd be able to get an opportunity to speak with you. Could you spare just a brief moment of time when I could speak with you?"
Well, we do have an official petitioner process, but I suppose if you can make it quick.
Yes, of course. Can I buy you something to drink or to eat just really quickly for your time? I promise I'll make it quick. I promise.
just hold her hand and go to a tree, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, only if we hold hands. Sure, I'm not particularly peckish, but I can sit down with you for a moment if need be.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, I know a small place right over here. And you see she kind of quickly leads you over to this small, like, pastry kind of shop on the side. It's like, think of it as like a bakery, basically. And she enters the shop and puts an order in for a few different things. And before like a minute or two, you start seeing like breads and donuts and stuff like that all coming out. Even though you said you obviously weren't particularly hungry, she seems to be going like overkill to try to impress you here. Some various beverages, that sort of thing. And then she says, yes, oh, thank you so much for your time, General. Well, see, what I wanted to speak to you about is, well, this is really more of a personal matter because I don't know if you've noticed, but most people around the town, like, nobody really knows you that well. And I think that's such a shame because everything I know is how well you're doing here and all the good work you're doing. I mean, leading the armies of Cariele, I mean, that's a massive responsibility. And from what I've seen, you're doing a great job. You defended us against Thurazor. I mean, it seems as though you should be much bigger, bigger. But not a lot of people know about you. And I think it all comes back to, well, there's no word out there about you. And that's what I do. I could get the word out. I'm really good at making stories come alive and spreading them around and putting them right on the tips of people's tongues.
All press inquiries should be directed to Lord Tannen.
And you see she kind of sighs a little bit. She says, well, I mean, I can go through the official channels if you wish, but this is just for you because no offense to your colleagues, but none of them really interest me. It's really your story that I want to really get big, big, big.
I really don't think that's necessary. I hope that whatever venues you use for your storytelling are taking note of the increased safety in the city and the incidents of crime that have gone down recently. And that's the only story that needs to get out there. So hope you're working hard on that one.
Well, unfortunately, that one's not getting out there because people aren't piecing together that your efforts are actually doing that. But if you could, well, just kind of share some stories with me of exactly what you did, then I can put that together and make sure that spreads far and wide. I can make sure people are connecting the dots that you're here and things are doing better.
Out of character, is this something that could actually like increase loyalty? You know, like if we were to get good press out there,
You don't think
like
on the
on a
realm
domain
level?
level or whatever.
No,
Yeah.
you don't think like on the domain level because that would have to move like thousands of people, right? You feel like this is more or less would highlight you and make your profile much bigger.
Well, I mean, yeah, I understand that that's what she's trying to do, but if we were to use the press, like, is that something that we could potentially do?
So there's a domain action called agitate, which basically is something like that. It's doing something on a big scale to increase or decrease loyalty in a province. That's always an option for you to take on the domain level, but you don't think what she's doing here would rise to that level.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretty much brush her off and, say that she should go through the proper channels for any inquiries. And if she's looking for a particularly sparkling personality piece, she should talk to the Copper Counselor.
She seems a little bit disappointed overall, but she takes the hint that this is not something you're really interested in. You see she jots a few notes down on a piece of parchment, and then she says, well, thank you for your time anyway. I appreciate it. Feel free to enjoy any of the food and drinks here. I've got to run, but again, thank you so much for your time. And then you see she quickly gets up and scoots out of the building.
Does our town have, like, beggars or, like, street
Yes.
kids?
Oh,
Then
yeah.
I'm
This is
gonna-
a big city. There's quite a few of those. Maybe somewhere like 15, 20% of the population is pretty poor off, and you would see them in the streets. Not all of them ask for handouts. Some of them are just very proud, but you could tell they're super poor.
I'm gonna disperse everything that she purchased to them nearby.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so you bring out those baked goodies and see who needs them, handing them out to kids and others who look like they're not so well off. And yeah, you get a lot of friendly smiles. Some people are a little bit skeptical at first, but they eventually try them and then they kind of give a shrug like, okay, yeah, this is actually pretty good. So yeah, it seems like you've spread a bit of cheer there in that little corner near the bakery. All right, excellent. So that is occurring that day, earlier in the day. Later in that same day, Tabard, you receive a note from Franco, and he writes down in very shorthand. It's almost like cryptic, not to the level of like a thieves' cant, not that cryptic, but he uses words that he's used with you before, like on your trip from Mercalot over to Cariele. And at the basic kind of gist that you get from this is he's inviting you to a game of chance in the same location that he works and wants to know if you're interested. And he gives you like tonight at this time roughly.
I'm sure there'll be drinks. I'm going out tonight. Yep, sounds like fun.
All right, fair enough. So you make your way later that night over to this game of chance. You find Franco to be in pretty good spirits. He's smiling, happy, and introduce you to some of the other players. As far as the stakes, they seem to be kind of on the lower level, somewhere between 5 and 10 gold pieces. Seems to be kind of like a typical pot size. So to represent about an hour or 2 hours of playing here, these games of chance, I would like you to give me a blind check, and I'm also going to ask, do you happen to be proficient in, I think it's called gaming, like dice set or chess set or any of those gaming tool proficiencies?
Yeah, mason tools and hand drum. Yes, same thing as gaming. Yes.
Fair enough. All right, I'm with you. All right, go ahead and throw me a blind check. And just also keeping in mind, if you lose multiple hands, this could be somewhere up to like 30 gold pieces. Is that reasonable that you feel like you would wager?
I was just going to say 25, so sure, 30. It
Okay,
could happen.
30. Okay. Well, yep. So throw me that blind check. We'll see how you do.
We already know the answer to this, Adam, but let's go ahead and do it.
Well, yeah, you totally called it. You lost all of your 30 gold like in 2 hands. Like you just, it was there and gone immediately. Franco is even shocked at how fast you lost.
Hey, you know what? I tell you, it's just always good to be here and spend time with some people.
And you notice everybody around you's like, oh yeah, we loved having you. You were a great companion to play with. Come back anytime.
Sure will. Yep, good time. I mean, the rule is, if you're not willing to lose it, don't gamble it, right?
And they all sort of like clap you, and they're very in good spirits, and they're like, Franco, you great job bringing this guy. He was a really good person to bring.
Yeah, next time I bring in my loaded dice. Sure. All right, I'm gonna put loaded dice on the next on my next shopping spree.
All right, so yeah, you had a good time, even though it was really short. But you can choose whether you kind of hang out there and enjoy the drinks and watch others play, or you decide to call it quits and leave early. Either way, you have a little bit of a fun that night before you make your way back to the castle and find yourself kind of falling into your old rhythms.
Yep.
All right, moving us one more day. Blixel, give me an idea of where and why Blixel would be out and about in the town, particularly in a not really heavily populated area. So maybe like the outskirts of the city or in like a park in the city, something along those lines.
Yeah, Blixel's just, wandering along a path in the park, trying to write new material for a new one-man play. So
Okay.
he's just strolling around with a pad of paper, his one sword at his side, so he can like practice the moves of the play, because all his plays are like action movie style stuff. And yeah.
All right, so as you're doing that, and your head's kind of down between, doing your sword play here and then also writing the things down as you're trying to create this play, you notice, like in the periphery of your vision, a shadow goes very fast in front of you, kind of a smaller shadow. It doesn't trigger to you immediately that it is anything of importance. Then you see it again, then you see it a third time, and you're like, okay, something's going on. You raise your head, and you see this bird flying over, and you see it as seemingly looking down towards you. And as you look up, you see it start spiraling down and getting closer and closer to you.
Hey, watch out! Try to dodge out of the way.
It's not like a dive bomb attack, but it is descending and getting closer to you.
Okay. Is it a normal sized bird?
It is, yeah. On a quick glance, it looks to you like maybe some type of species of falcon.
All right. I will try to find the place that, like, an overhang or something like that, where I can be underneath.
Okay, sure enough, yeah. So you look around nearby and you see like some of the trees here a little bit, growth. They're a little bit thicker, so you kind of park under one of those, and yeah, it gets to the point where the bird certainly couldn't just land on your head. You notice it flies down though and gets in a limb that's probably only 10 feet from you, and you see the bird kind of scopes around everywhere around you, and then it looks over towards you. And this won't come as a shock because this has happened multiple times to you now, but it actually speaks and it says, "You're Blixel, aren't you?"
Well, yeah, I
Don't
am.
say other than your name. Don't say any other names you're thinking of. Do you understand?
What?
Don't say any other names. You can say your name, but just in an abundance of caution, don't say any other names. Am I clear?
Oh, I don't know what people are named. This whole
No.
sentence could be names.
No. People's names. Don't say any names of people you know. How do you not get this? Oh, jeez.
All right. I think I got it. Nobody I know.
Correct.
Well, don't tell
say-
me your name then, because then I'll say that.
I won't, but just don't say any names. Are we clear?
Super clear.
Okay, this is the message I have to deliver to you. He's coming back. He's going to see you soon.
Oh,
I just said no names. What did I just say? Oh, Jesus Christ. How does this...
Oh,
He can see
I'm
him,
sorry,
mumbling to himself. And
okay,
then
I'm sorry.
He shakes his feathers, and you get this like human-like emotion of total exasperation. She's coming back. She's going to see you. Be prepared for that. But she wanted me to tell you not to trust the new religious sect here in Riverford. They are dangerous. Stay away from them. Do you understand? Do you understand? Can I just answer?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, geez. All right. And then she wants to make sure that you're still willing to help her. You still would be willing to help her, right?
Oh, I think I know who this is.
Don't say it.
We're still looking for a place.
And you see it cocks its head as it looks at you and kind of blinks its eyes. Sure, whatever. I don't care about that. But you're still willing to help her, right?
I think so. I'm usually willing to help most people. Who I know you can't tell me, so I guess yes.
Good. I will explain to her just how quickly you caught on to all of that I was saying here. I'm sure that will make her give a good laugh. But just remember what I said. Do you remember what I said? Do I need to repeat it?
Repeat it at least twice. All right. I have a little script here, so I can write it down, actually.
You see he starts scratching with his talons on the tree limb. Don't trust the religious sect here in Riverford. Got it? Does that make sense? Is that clear?
Should we kill them?
I'm sure if you want to, but just don't trust them. If they try to ask you for anything, just don't do anything for them. That's really what she wants to make sure.
All right. Thanks, random bird. I'll do whatever you said.
All right. And then, like I said, she will be here before too long, and I'll tell her she can count on your help. So, all right, I got to go back now. You see he kind of looks around and goes, "Caw!" and jumps into the air and starts flying away.
That was really funny.
If it makes me feel any better, no, I have no idea what this is about.
I don't know
Maybe
either. I
it's
thought
Druid
maybe it was
from the
that
past?
the alchemist sorcerer chick.
No, it's your girlfriend.
It's your
in the-
druid lady, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's a talking bird,
Oh
dude.
shit! You're right.
It's
Oh,
It's
Garnica?
yeah,
Darn
Darnica.
Well,
Did you
we're
say that out
We're
loud,
of here.
Blixel?
No, we're
No,
out.
no. This is not.
Okay.
This is,
As
Okay.
a thoughts on him.
'Cause it's a druid type of message, right? Through a
Yeah, it's
bird.
animal
Yeah.
message.
yeah.
Yeah.
An awakened bird, probably. Okay, but Blixel probably doesn't put that together quite. He'll have to confer with everybody.
What if she's
Um,
pregnant?
You
That's
know,
our
add
timeline.
it to the list of the problems we're having.
How long ago was that?
8 months.
I don't think it's actually been that long. I think it's, if I had to just rough estimate, I think it's been somewhere between 3 and 4.
Man,
We should find
time we've accomplished a lot in that time. Yeah, like Bixel will just like be like, huh, I'm gonna have to figure this out, and not really know who it was from, and try to like walk back to the castle.
All right, you make your way back to the castle. Are you like going to speak to any of the other counselors, or are you just like, I'll talk to him next time I see him?
Yeah, no, I'll bring it up because they said they'll be here soon,
So
and
essentially,
not to
what that
trust the.
means. So are you like calling a meeting and like saying, "Hey, everybody, let's go to the chambers," or are you just going to individual rooms and like, "Hey, let's all get in someone's room and chat"? I'm just trying to get an idea of the level of secrecy you're trying to put around this.
I mean, talking bird. I'm gonna probably call everybody into the chambers all at once, just to like suss it out.
All right, fair enough. So you call another just quick like meeting down in the chambers, and I'm sure unless anybody objects, everybody would agree to that. So I'll move you guys back over to the castle chambers.
Is this how this is gonna go, guys? Everyone has an idea, and you have to wake me up to come to the council chambers. Can this be an email or something?
Um, well, as a religious person,
Yeah.
I have information that may pertain to you. Are you part? What's the newest religious sect here?
um, bologna and cheese. I don't know.
Hmm.
Well, I guess it could be referring to those people in the robes that showed up, talking about from Tavard's thing with the ring. You know, the
Yeah,
tentacle
those
thing.
monks. Probably
Yeah.
those monks.
I am
Hmm.
proficient in religion, which I rarely take. So I don't know if this is something I could check, but
If
that's
you want
I
to
don't
check
know.
what the newest religion in this area is,
I do.
yeah, I would say you don't even really need to make a check for that. Being part of the NRC, you guys are definitely on top of other religions that are in the area. So I can just give you the high level overview. Halen's Aegis is in this area in both Melavienne and Mountain's Edge, but they have just a very minor presence there. There was another very minor group here in Riverford called the Oaken Grove of Eric, but they are no longer in the area. They seemingly have disbanded.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, those are the ones. Sorry, I was taking a nap.
But I
What
know
he
a lot
said.
of time passes and all of this, and sometimes some of the information that you get won't necessarily stick out to you right away. So I'll just make this really easy on you guys and say, you may recall, and if you don't, this is your reminder that you recall, that you guys got a briefing previously about a new religious sect that had showed up in Riverford.
That was one of mine, I think.
It was indeed. Yep. So that's in the fall seer briefing from this year fall, and that was number 4 on the list.
Of the Voss people.
Indeed.
Well, yeah, I heard about a small sect that had arrived, but they haven't like contacted us in any way, as far as I know.
Well, someone that doesn't like them sent a bird to talk to me about him and said, "Don't trust him."
A talking bird told you this?
Yeah, it
Okay.
said, "Don't say any names." And I was like, "That's really hard for me." And then, it's acted, talked like a person, talked like you and me.
Had you been drinking skooma or something like that?
And
You're
there's
the
all
one that
kinds of
had
magic in
talking
this world.
dreams and everything. He could have a talking bird.
Yeah, the former counselor Cathbad, I know was able to do things like that. Could be someone with druidic power, perhaps.
Yeah. When he turned into the animals, though, he couldn't talk.
No, but he was able to convey messages to birds. I saw him do that once or twice, but I was never privy to what exactly he was
I
saying
think he could talk.
or who he was communicating with.
That's pretty cool.
Well, anyways, they said they were coming. They didn't want me to say their name, so I couldn't figure out who exactly it is. But they said they're coming, and not to trust this new religious sect that's in Riverford.
The Vosts?
Probably.
We'll keep that in mind. But I haven't received any further briefings on that front so far. They said they were going to keep monitoring them and try to figure out which deities they worshipped, but they didn't have that information the last I heard.
Are they like blonde people?
Are they what?
They have like that light colored hair. Humans?
The Voss are a kind of human. Let's see. A barbaric race from the cold mountains and forests of northeast Cerilia. Tall, thick-boned people with flat features, light eyes, and sallow skin.
I'm trying to figure out, who do you think sent this bird? They acted like they knew me. They said my name.
Well,
It's your cave lady. She's pregnant. She's got news.
did we ever tell you about that?
Oh, I'm sure it's coming. Yeah.
We heard about it. All the stories. Blixel can't stop singing about her. So
Well,
banging his
without
drum.
without
think it was
naming
Arnica?
names. Without naming names.
All
who
right,
do
you
we
said the name. I heard it that time. That was definitely in character. All right, just writing that down.
You think it was her?
You're gonna die in 5 minutes anyway.
Big G.
If she had a talking bear, she could have a talking bird, dude.
That's true. Well, that's awesome. Garnica's coming to town, guys.
There it is again.
Let's just-
Keeps
You
digging
say the name
deeper.
3 times, and that's what the curse is. I
Then
can't.
she shows up in the mirror.
One more time, buddy, and it's over.
Well, make
And
sure
can you make sure we have like a really nice suite in the castle?
For who?
Ah,
I gotcha. I gotcha.
I think she likes it cold, not warm.
that's true. Oh, all right. Things are looking up, guys.
Okay, anything else you want to hash over about that or anything else on this day before we advance some more time?
No, but I am gonna, in case lightning comes, I'm gonna stay away from Blixel.
Okay. Good
there's an
to
ice
know.
major.
All right, I'm going to advance us one more day, guys. So again, you take care of some other odds and ends. Early that morning, let's have Blixel roll me a 1d6.
No reason.
That's how many ice lances are about to be targeted at him.
So Blixel, it's yourself. As you're moving about the castle this morning, maybe it's early in the morning, getting your stretching in, that kind of thing, stepping out, maybe even going to the balcony, something along those lines. You happen to recognize Blade Bosch. He's dressed in servant's livery, and you can see he's scrubbing down walls. And there looks to be another servant who is on the surface cleaning, but it seems like she is watching him very, very closely.
You missed a spot. Right over there.
You say that to Blade,
Yep.
and you notice he turns and he looks at you, and he gives you this like really nasty teenager sneer, and then kind of walks over there and starts scrubbing.
That was perfect.
Yeah, sometimes actions have consequences, unfortunately.
And you just hear under, sometimes actions have consequences.
All right, keep up the good work. And he gives a gold piece to the woman watching him.
And she gives you a big smile before turning back to her, like, frowny look over towards him. Okay, guys. So yeah, that is all the events that have occurred before council session day. So we're going to advance to the next day. We're now on the 20th of the month. Okay, and this is the day of council. So you guys arrive ready to deal with your petitioners. You'll also be taking your domain action today. So your choice, what would you guys like to do? Petitioners first or domain action first?
I say let's get the domain action out of the way.
Well, we might get some information from the petitioners. We might want to, maybe, I don't know. That's the only thing I'm thinking.
Yeah, intel gathering is never a bad thing.
That's true.
All right, sounds like we got some votes there for move to petitioners first. Okay, so Lord Tannen will just briefly go over. There are 4 petitioners to see you guys here today, and he has documented some brief details about them. He says, "Would you like me to give you a brief synopsis of the 4 folks, or just bring them on in, one at a time, of course?"
Yeah, a little briefing would help, I think.
Yeah, to confirm that we want to talk to him in public or private.
Oh, yes. Well, Counselor, in fact, 2 of them requested private, so I was thinking we'd do the public ones first, and then escort everybody out of the throne room, and then we would move to the private ones. So for the public ones, the first one is a Mr. Ban Hadley. He is a peasant here from Riverford, farmer. He has a complaint against the guild. Some of their members are apparently taking over houses in one of the villages in Riverford, closer towards the Rude River. And essentially, the weather got cold, and the cutters, the loggers were cold, so they just kind of like moved on into these people's homes. They didn't kick the people out of their homes, but basically said like, yeah, you got to feed us and keep us warm, and they're not too happy about it. But when they spoke to their village elder, they didn't get any kind of response. So basically, he's here hoping you guys will take some kind of action. The next individual is a Mark Calatis. He's actually a somewhat decorated soldier from Oriad. He has come here seeking employment. He has expertise and experience in leading soldiers. So he would be a kind of individual that would lead a particular unit of yours under the command of the general, of course. But from what I understand, an experienced and skilled individual like this can enhance a unit's prowess on the battlefield. That's your 2 public petitioners, and then there are 2 private requests. One is a return petitioner. You've actually spoken with her before. It's Mrs. Aridel Bertinel, the Elvish armorsmith from here in Carolinian. She said she wished to speak with you, but didn't give too many details, but she did request a private meeting. And then the last one is a Mr. Leo de Grance Antial. He is a local merchant, also requested a private meeting with you, and said this could be financially beneficial for you, was all he really let me know.
Excellent.
Are we in agreement to start with the public petitioners? I can ask Mr. Ban Hadley to come on in first.
I'm okay with that. I have no problems with the folks you mentioned. Anybody else?
Sounds good.
The guild one's gonna be a toughie, guys.
True that.
That is the first one. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get him. And you notice Lord Tannen then goes down, goes through the whole rigmarole where the chamber doors are opened. Folks kind of come on in from, all the kind of excuse me, all the like somewhat socially influential folks hanging out in the gallery there, watching around, seeing what you guys are up to, chatting with one another, drinking, eating, that kind of thing. Nice little social event here. Once everybody's kind of situated and ready to go, takes probably about 20 minutes or so. Then the actual herald kind of calls out Mr. Ban Hadley's name, and he is escorted in. You notice he is an older man, perhaps in his 50s, you would guess. Looks like he has a little bit of bum leg. It looks like he's kind of dragging it behind him a little bit. And you notice as he is approaching here, he takes off this farmer's hat and kind of puts it more towards his stomach. And you see he looks towards you all. And then you see he looks at the throne, gets a little bit of look of confusion on him, and then looks back at you guys and he says, it's you? I'm telling you all the story?
Yes, we handle the day-to-day and the meetings here.
You notice he nods and clicks his tongue. Okay. Well, then let me just explain. So I'm from a small village in the northern part of your land here, this province, and kind of closer towards the Rude River. We're not a big village at all, but maybe 500 people or so. But, well, the guild recently has picked that location more towards the river and kind of a bit further east to do some additional cutting. I think they said something about the crop came in. I don't know, the quick growth trees they're recutting. I don't know the specifics, you all. But, yes, after that happened, well, we've been getting colder and colder nights. We're getting into true winter now, of course. It's almost here, not quite here, but not as bad as last year, but it's going to be here. But they start getting all complainy, and they come to the village, and they just started pushing themselves in our homes. They wouldn't take no for an answer. I've got 2 young kids, a son and a daughter. I can't have loggers just around my house. They're not the most respectful of individuals. They have weird ways about them, very ill-mannered language, and it's just not right. It's got to be something that you all can do about this. They can't just be coming into our homes.
How many are there coming in?
Oh, it must be like a dozen, somewhere around there. I don't know why they picked our village to pick on, but yeah, it's about a dozen.
Do you know of any other location they could go to if we were to suggest that to them?
No, I mean, I keep my head down and I just work. That's how we survive out in the village. You got to work pretty much sun up, sun down. I don't got time to go looking around for places for other people to live. I got my own house to worry about.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. Maybe there was, we come from a village town, so we understand, but, or many of us do anyway, but, yeah, I just wasn't sure if maybe there was an empty village we could send them off to if we were lucky enough to have something like that, but,
You see he shrugs with the farmer's head. He just kind of holds it up like you can clearly tell he's got no idea.
yeah, so, what exactly are you I mean, you may not have an answer, but is there anything particular? I mean, obviously they're taking.
Yeah, I want you to tell them that they
Property
can't do that. I want you to say, like, no, you can't do that. Go somewhere else.
How far away is your village?
Far from here?
Yes, from here.
It's a few hours walk. It took me, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours to get here.
Is the main concern that they're taking over houses, food, or both? Or can you explain that a little bit more? How many houses they taking over? I mean, is it, you said there's about a dozen of them. Is it like one person per house, or how's that working?
I had 2 in my house recently. 2 of them. I finally got them to go, and that's why I could come here and try to get your help. But some of them, it's 1 person in a house. Some of them, it's 2. I know, old Johnson's house. All 3 of them kind of went in there, and they said, oh, he's got the room, and they just pushed him all around, and he had to go in the little spot of his house.
Is there a house by chance that you could loan them for if they had 1 house? Is that a workable solution out in your village? My apologies. I'm just trying to think of some ideas.
They're not real big on talking things through. They just kind of come in and demand things. I don't think there's any empty houses in the village, sir. But no, I mean, they should set up tents or something. It's not our problem.
Agreed. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Trust me, I understand your concerns because, like I said, some of us come from a village. I just wanted to make sure we we had the right of understanding, of what's going on.
Yeah, you come from a village. Can you imagine if people just wandered into your village, opened your door, came in, ate your food, and said, yeah, you got to put up with us being here? I mean, what would you do?
I can't tell you what I would do because I'm in a different position right now.
You notice he kind of chuckles a little bit, and he points at you and goes, but you get what I'm saying. You understand.
Yeah. So I'll look at the rest of the group. Any ideas, guys? I mean, I don't even see the guild being for this.
We could ask their representative about what's going on. They might be willing to cooperate with us to get their people in line. I also have another idea. Still working on the specifics of it, though.
Anybody else? Adam, how hard would it be to get in touch with the I know he's living here in the city and everything, the half elf that is the representative to the guild.
Yeah, they live here. So Parniel, you think you could probably summon him with like 2-3 hours notice, something like that?
Sir, how are you staying in the city here? Do you have accommodations?
Well, I wasn't planning on staying too long. I was coming to deliver this message and hoping it would work, but I was going to sleep, one night in the inn. I was able to put a few coins together just to be able to do that. I don't want to sleep out in the woods nearby the city. No way. But then tomorrow morning, I got to get back.
Does your town have an inn?
No, it's just a village. It's nothing as big as this. No, we just have homes.
Adam, about what time of day is it?
Usually you guys have council kind of, or petitioners, I should say, early-ish in the day. So like 9:30, 10 a.m., something like that.
Guys, so what do you say we send this guy on his way and he comes back and sees us tomorrow? And I don't say this out loud where he can hear me, Adam. Just talking to our group here. How about we send him on his way with I'll give him a few coins and stuff for his stay, and maybe we can summon, the representative later today and talk to him about this, and maybe he can resolve this for us, and have this petitioner come back tomorrow morning, and we can have a private audience with him and see what we can come up with.
Excellent idea.
Well, we're leaving for the wedding later today.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, is it later today? Well, we can talk to Lord Tannen. And is it later today we're leaving, Adam?
So the trip between you guys' capital and their capital is about a 4-day trip, and the wedding is 4 days away. So if you leave right after this session of council, you would get there a few hours, or probably more than a few, maybe 6 hours before the wedding. So that would give you a chance to like unwind, that kind of thing, before actually going to the first day of the wedding. So yes, if you spent additional time here, you would get closer and closer to the start of the wedding by the time you arrived. And that's assuming you have nothing weird on your travels there.
Yeah, and
That never happens.
That's probably not a chance there,
We can
okay.
make time to meet with Parniel before we leave.
Why don't we just tell this fine gentleman that we will discuss it with the guild and try to resolve this for you?
Well, because I'm just saying he's already in town. He's leaving tomorrow. If we can get it resolved by him, the other guy today, right before we leave, then we could give this guy some news, right? I mean, and we could always have Lord Tannen tell him, So why don't we go ahead and summon this other guy and have him, try to see if he can meet us before we're done with our, before we're done with lunch.
All right, sounds good to me.
Sir, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We've got to talk to some folks before we can do that, of course. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to give him 2 silvers, Adam. and I'm gonna say, why don't you go ahead and have a good meal and everything? Come back in, maybe 3 hours time. If we're not here because we have someplace to go, then speak to Lord Tannen. I'm sure Lord Tannen's in the room. Adam, is
He
that
is
correct?
indeed. Yep. And he nods at you
Yeah.
and confirms everything you just said. Now, to clarify, when you're holding these 2 silvers out, are you inviting him to come up to where you guys are sitting to collect those from you, or are you walking to
I'll
him?
walk down to him and hand him 2 silvers.
All right, and as you get closer approaching him, you notice he kind of looks at you like a little bit unsure what you're doing, but once he realizes you're holding the silver coins out, he kind of relaxes, and then he will take those from you, and he looks back towards you, and he says, well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yes, I will come back shortly then. I hope you got some good news for me then. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you, I can't make any promises because we don't own the guild kind of thing, but I can promise that we're gonna make that attempt because us villagers have to stay together, right?
Go ahead and give me a blind check here, Tavern. You notice as you say this, it like lights up in his eye. You get this almost immediate, like, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about reaction. And you see he nods and almost goes to like slap you, like in a greeting of like, yeah, but then he stops himself, realizing where he's at. But he says, yes, exactly. That's exactly right. I'm so glad somebody finally understands. Thank you, Master Dwarf. Thank you so much.
And I'll shake his hand just to let him know it's okay. And sounds good.
He seems to be happy with that, like more pleased than even he was, and he leaves with a smile on his face, seemingly very satisfied with this turn of events. See, that wasn't a bad roll, Bill.
Nice job.
You know what? If I'm gonna have one per session, I'm happy, right?
All right, so as you guys have cleared out your first petitioner, you got 3 more to go. We are about halfway through our session here, folks. Let's go ahead and pause, take our 15-minute break, and turn back on the other side. See you then, guys.
See you soon.
All right, we are back in the second half of our session. Team, let's see, you guys, all right, so we will pick up where we left off, and you guys were having various chats on how to approach this and looking through our various days. You guys did your first petitioner, and so you are now moving on to your second petitioner. Let's get you guys back over to the throne room.
Hey, Adam, real quick, when you said there was a bunch of folks in the audience there kind of talking and things, was that do I get the impression that was because I went down to that farmer himself, or did I get a different reason?
I would say what you guessed is because you wanted to make sure you weren't heard, and you guys had probably what amounted to like a 2-minute sidebar conversation. Everybody was like getting a little bit antsy as far as, well, what's going on? We can't hear anything. We don't want to sit here and stare. So they kind of started talking amongst themselves.
All right, fair enough. Thanks.
Yeah, sure
Tough
enough.
crowd.
Okay, so you guys just did your first petitioner, and then there's only one other public petitioner. So Lord Tannen looks to you all and looks for your agreement for him to bring in the second petitioner.
Bring them on.
All right, excellent. Lord Tannen will make his way back. Once again, you hear sort of like the trumpeteers and the announcement of Mark Calatis entering. You notice a fairly impressive, from a physical standpoint, gentleman enters. He's reasonably tall and looks very well built. You see he enters very much, you could say, with focused purpose. As he enters, you notice he strides up the walkway here, getting closer to you all, and you see he will give you a slight bow. Doesn't look really low or anything like that, but then he will lift his head up and he will say, "Greetings, counselors. I am Mark Calatis of Moriad. I'm sure you've already been briefed upon me. I hope to answer any questions you have and see if I am suitable for employment here in Cariele. I know I could do some great things for your units and make sure you're prepared for the inevitable wars to come. And based on my own information that I was able to gather here in Cariele, you don't have a ton of military expertise. You have some, obviously, but perhaps not enough for all of your units. And I would hope to be able to fill some of those gaps for you."
What type of unit do you feel most comfortable with? Do you bring the most to the table with?
Infantry, that's what I've spent most of my time working alongside. That's the skills that I've acquired, and I find infantry's mindset is most matched to my own. I find I'm able to rally them easiest. They usually are in the thick of things. They're the ones that sent in first, and they hold lines, protect other units. Those are my guys.
And how much would you be wanting for salary?
I'm negotiable, but I would say at a baseline, I would be looking for about a gold bar per season.
Now, I guess my biggest question is why our country and not your own?
That's a fair enough question. The academies in Moriad are able to produce many skilled individuals, and suffice to say, Moriad's roster of experienced military commanders is overflowing, you might say. So those of us who succeed in the academies and come out very well pedigreed in the knowledge of military expertise, we don't necessarily have a spot for us ready and willing in Moriad. So we try to go to other nations where our skills can be made of use. And in particular, we try to never take our talents to some enemies of Moriad. And from what I understand, your nation is on quite good terms with Moriad, and that suits me just well.
I'm sure you have references.
I can certainly get them to you. Yes, as I said, I was educated in an academy in Moriad. I can get you information to that degree if it's required.
Perhaps someday we could set up an academy like that here.
That's a very grand goal, and I would suggest that, yes, it would be something to do. Once you have the resources, yes, it would certainly serve you well.
Were you from somewhere else before you went to the academy in Moriad?
If you mean another nation, no, I was born and raised in Moriad, Counselor.
Ah, we love Moriad here. They are a fine ally.
You see, he inclines his head. They are a very stalwart nation in the middle of a very difficult place. They've stood for so long as a testament to the Moor's rulership and his wisdom, and you are very wise to select him for an ally.
Well, I
Like
think
I
this is a
said-
capital idea.
Yeah, I like this guy a lot, guys. I'm gonna say it.
Adam, do we have somebody of his, I don't want to say caliber because we don't really know his caliber, but his status already in our army?
Not specifically, so I'll give you guys a little bit of background information. You may not remember because we've only done this once and it was a while ago, but when you guys had both your demo war and then the actual war with Thurazor, if you remember, you had the opportunity to personally lead a unit, and then if you did, you had a chance based on your skill to influence and increase one of the stats of your army unit if you rolled successfully. You can assume, I'm not going to give you exact numbers or anything like that, but you can assume he's skilled in the skill that allows you to more effectively move your troops. So if you were to hire him, essentially he becomes a leader on the battlefield that could do what you guys do for a single unit, but you're not risking yourselves. I'll put it that way. Right? You can't die if he's leading the troops, but he could potentially still give that edge of having a leader in control of the unit.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, this is not my expertise at all, but would it be reasonable to ask him to work with one of our other, I don't know, generals, colonels, or whomever, whatever ranks, we have for 2 weeks, just so they can get a feel for him a little bit? Because we're actually asking for an outsider to come in and lead a group, right? I'd like one of our own people to at least assess him for a couple weeks.
I mean, you certainly can. I guess what I would say is all of the military people you guys have, there are, various ranks, that sort of thing, but they all kind of fall into the unit structure. If you get an actual hired person that becomes a leader, like someone who leads a unit, they will always be on the outside, not necessarily outside of your nation, but they will never just be considered part of the regular maintenance or upkeep of that army unit. So whether you hire internally or externally, you would be paying a salary to have that kind of a individual on your team that can actually lead to that level of effectiveness. But yes, if you want to ask him to work with your internal people and just kind of they give you the thumbs up that, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about, you certainly could do that.
Yeah, I would just hate to hire somebody at this level for such an important role without at least having an evaluation other than just 5-minute interview at a council meeting.
Well, it is also, I think of it opposite, right? It's like we're the poor nation who has very little skill, and like a successful nation wants to help. Who's our ally? I think, I don't know, for lack of a better example, but there'd be some countries in this world that would like some military help from a powerful nation, and
Right,
without
but we don't
questions.
know. Yeah, but we just don't know if he's actually capable. He's saying he's capable. I'm just saying, proof's in the pudding.
Oh,
Something.
Sure. So yeah, basically,
Why?
as you float this idea, would you be willing to meet with our internal folks under the direction of General Serena and make sure that they attest to your skill? He would nod and he would say, "I'd be more than happy to meet with your folks and talk shop and make sure we're seeing eye to eye."
great.
I'd also like to focus some of your efforts on bringing some of our other leaders up to a higher quality, higher level of skill.
You see, he nods slowly. I will be quite frank and say, I am very good at what I do. I don't know that I'm a great teacher of other people of this skill. I'm a good teacher of the soldiers. I know how to keep men in line, particularly it's mostly young men that we find in our forces, at least in Moria, 20s, 30s, maybe some 40s, but not much older than that. There's sort of a meld mindset that all of these folks they get to a point where they kind of all think somewhat similarly, and it's very easy to motivate them with my techniques. But teaching other people how to do what I do, I can certainly do that if you like, but I would say that's not my expertise.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of having a lieutenant shadow you or something.
I would welcome that. Yes, I will, allow them to kind of see what I do. So not necessarily instruction, but allow them to pick things up by watching me, observing. Yes, I would think that would be fine.
Great.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate the very quick nature of your responses and the no nonsense arrangement of your council here. I think that bodes very well for us. I will speak to the treasurer here about the exact details and meet with the individuals inside of your military apparatus, and I'm sure I will be hearing from you before too long.
And stay vigilant. We are beset on all sides.
You see he nods slowly and he says, "Well, not by all sides. Definitely not by the south, counselor." And you see he will then turn and make his way for the exit.
What are you talking about, Blixel? Jeez.
That's true. We must be strong.
Yes, okay, that's true.
Lord Tana looks to you guys, a little bit of smile on his face. You get the impression that he felt that went really well. And then he says, there's just the 2 private petitioners left, counselors. Is there any address that you would like to make to the gallery before I ask them to vacate?
Adam, do I see repeaters? Repeat people? Well, they're all the same people?
The people in the gallery?
Yeah.
If you've been paying attention, is this your second session of council for Gordon? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So just based on 2, I would say maybe you notice a couple of folks, but I would say all together, they all kind of very much resemble one another. Because it's like almost like if you imagine school kids all in the same uniform, would you be able to pick all of them apart? It's kind of like that a little bit, because like the courtier garb is very similar. So you're noticing a lot of very similarly clothed people with similar hairstyles and that kind of thing. So you're pretty sure that there are some repeaters, but how many, you're not quite sure.
I'm going to not even ask. I'm just going to be Gordon. Get up and what I'll say to Tan, and I'll say, yeah, you can dismiss them. But when it's dismissed, I'm gonna stand up and walk up to the gallery as they are leaving and say, thank you for coming. My name's Gordon, and try to make eye contact with every single person there. How many people are there?
At the moment, probably about 50.
Okay. Well, then the ones who are at the front row, and just try to not shake their hand or anything, but just kind of present myself, and I want to try to memorize some of these faces is my goal.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so Lord Tannen lets everybody know that that's the end of the public session of council, and you notice that everybody kind of gets up and they start filtering out. You do hear some like kind of mumbling and stuff. You hear some people say, "Man, these used to be a lot longer. I wonder what happened. Is nobody coming anymore?" And you see someone else say, "Yeah, last time we were here for like 6 hours. This was way better." They just kind of start trickling out. But yeah, you pay attention, kind of snapshot mentally some faces.
Okay, yeah, I just want to get a feel for the place. If anyone wants to talk to me, I will do it. If not, I'll just, I'll actually say thank you for coming and stand there and see if anyone wants to step up.
Nobody directly tries to like spark up a conversation with you. You notice like as they start moving, it gets very much processional, right? Where like they're all just kind of following. But people do take notice of you standing there and smiling and saying thank you. And you see some of them return, "Oh, thank you." And "Oh, thank you." Yeah, it seems to be a very pleasant overall. A few people kind of don't really pay attention to you. They just seem to be focused on putting one foot in front of the other to get out of here. But yeah, overall, fairly pleasant experience.
Okay, that's cool. That's it.
Okay, as the gallery exits and it's just your council and the guards, Lord Tannen will look to you and say, "Counselors, would you like this to be a fully private without the guards and the staff, or how would you like to proceed? There are no guests any longer, just your own staff, but would you like it to be fully private?"
Did the petitioners request it to be fully private, or
They simply
they
said
just kind of
private. So what you define as private versus what they define. I guess the question I'm really asking, counselors, is if sensitive information is revealed in these meetings, are you okay with your guards and your attendants being aware of this?
No.
Okay, let me escort them out as well then. And you see he will give the call out. And you notice similarly to what happened before, the staff just set down trays and that sort of thing and quickly make their way for the exit. And then the guards once again kind of turn on their heels and march on up. All right, moments later, Lord Tannen says, "Okay, we have two private petitioners. I already mentioned them briefly. They are both here and ready to go. Is there one you want to see before the other, or does it not matter?"
Not matter to me.
Yeah, I don't
do
care.
both.
Okay, let me get the merchant. He seemed a bit antsier. Perhaps that would be better to take him first. Then I'll be right back, counselors. And you notice he makes his way for the door, the whole standard rigmarole, except no fanfare this time because there's nobody in to blow horns, right? So this gentleman is then escorted in shortly thereafter, and you notice Lord Tannen kind of escorting him closer to you guys. As he steps through the door, he's clearly an older man, and this is what he looks like. You notice he seems to walk fairly with purpose. He doesn't look any kind of like impaired ability physically in any way. Obviously older, but seemingly in pretty good shape. You'll notice he approaches very boldly, you could say. He walks very much with purpose. And as he gets closer, he looks to you all and he says, "It is nice to make your acquaintance. I'm sure that you've already been informed. I'm Leo de Grand Sentiel. I'm a local merchant here, and I'm hoping to have some moments of your time to speak about my family and the future."
We're all ears.
Your family.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, counselors. I appreciate your attentiveness to this matter. I am a very successful merchant, if I do say so myself. I've done quite well for myself. But as you know, in this land of Anweer, you're not really anybody until you're somebody officially. So no matter how important of a merchant I could ever be, my family will never rise above the status of merchant. We will simply always be merchant class unless tragedy would befall us and we fell to the poor class. But getting into the upper echelons of society is not easily done. But thankfully, there's something that you all can do to help me with that. You see, I'm hoping for my son to be knighted and eventually granted a lordship. This would ensure a successful family generation in history for many, many years to come. And I'm hoping for your assistance in this matter. Every nation has problems, and those problems often can be solved by coin. So I'd be more than happy to assist you solving some of those problems with the resources that I've accumulated over many years of successful merchanting. And In return, I would seek a knighthood for my son, and eventually you're granting him a noble title.
How much gold are we talking about here?
Those specifics can, of course, be hashed out, but I will say that this is a very serious offer that I am making, and obviously this is the frontier, so I'm sure coin goes quite far here. Many of the issues that you have, your treasury, I'm sure, is not overflowing, so allow me to bear a bit of that burden, and it really doesn't impact you much, and I can tell you that my son is a very stand-up man, and I think you would be very honored to have him as a knight in your service.
And I mean, obviously, this is a prestigious position. I'm not a knight myself, but what has he done to earn the title other than your coin? If we knight somebody, I would imagine, and I look at Lord Tannen, I would imagine that we would want somebody who is deserving of it, or else we just look like fools.
You notice Lord Tannen nodding. He was already kind of like looking suspiciously, but he's nodding pretty vigorously towards you now, Tabard. You notice Leo de Grance looks towards you and he says, "It is true that being knighted usually requires some deeds and so forth. I'm not opposed to that, but again, what is the purpose of a knight? A knight is someone who serves his domain, serves his realm, right? He is someone that puts others before himself, and that is what I'm trying to do here. There are many problems in this nation that can be solved by more resources. Think of the ways, what you could do with extra coin that you didn't have to worry about balancing your budget, but you could use some of my coin to aid the people, to aid in your projects, to advance your military means. The sky's the limit here. And that would be coming from my family. That's me doing a good deed for the realm. And in return, you would be knighting my son. And that way, he could earn that prestige by helping out through many different projects and things that my coin would go towards. If there are specific ceremonial tasks that you would like him to take, of course, we're open to that as well.
I'm looking at the rest of the group, and obviously this is more of an open. I mean, this is just us, so I'm going to look at the group without. I said I don't know anything about this knighthood stuff, but I think it would be important to have somebody that of character. I mean, his father's gold, and I mean, I know that could help us, but I mean, it's not even his gold. He's offering his dad's gold. I mean, living in the basement, so to speak.
I think we would certainly need to meet your son.
Yes, of course, that can certainly be arranged.
If he's cool, it's a win-win, right? It's just a title. There's no land associated with this.
That is correct. I'm hoping for him to be knighted. That would simply be a title. Once he is raised to the level of nobility, I'm not expecting any estate or anything from you, but he would have all of the legal protections of being a lord.
I'm going to tell the rest of the group I don't feel comfortable making a decision like this unless we learn more about what that in details. I just think people who are more worried about titles, usually I can't see that boding well. People of titles and not of actions is not exactly my taste.
I'm gonna knight myself first.
Nothing wrong with that.
Are you guys saying that out loud?
Mine was not out loud at all.
No.
I knew yours
No.
wasn't, because you changed your vote. Okay, good enough. So that was all out of character. Gotcha.
Well, I might whisper it to my neighbors at the table.
Okay, so like an under the breath thing. Okay.
I
So-
agree with you, Counselor Ironsong. I think we definitely need to meet this person himself before we commit to any decisions like this.
You notice the petitioner nods and he says, "That is not a problem at all. I'd be happy to have him meet you. I'm hoping that this will go well and that we can align him for success, right? I want to make sure there's no tricks or anything that's going to make him look bad so that it makes it more challenging for this to go through. So if we're on the same page and we agree in principle that as long as there's no glaring character faults that you detect when you meet him, that this can move forward, then I can have him prepared and make sure we are all on the same page and moving forward as a collective group.
How old is your boy?
He is 23.
Does he have any experience? I guess knights fight. Is that right, Lord Tannen?
Lord Tannen will look and he will say, the history of knights here in Cariele is not very well founded. The most typical knights, when we hear that term, are actually referred to as the paladins of the Order of Halen. And you notice the petitioner shakes his head. Being a knight in a land, all it requires is for the rulers of that land to knight you. It doesn't require any kind of religious ceremony. If you, as the rulers of this land, say that he is a knight, then he is a knight. And you notice Lord Tannen kind of looks at you guys and gives you this look. And then the petitioner looks back and he says, it is really just your words and confirming it. I mean, think about how somebody becomes a knight or becomes a noble. What did they do? Do you really think that all of these nobles that you meet, every single one of them, is a person of great character and admirable service? Most of them simply have parents or grandparents or even older ancestors that did something worthy. What makes them worthy? And you notice Lord Tannen's now looking at him and getting very angry.
How long have you been doing business in Cariele?
Some 40 years now, counselor. This is not my primary area of business, Cariele, but in the last 10 years or so, I have more focused here, trying to have a bit of a retirement for myself, and family is the most important thing in life. So I'm trying to make sure that my son and any grandchildren that I should have in the future are all well taken care of and can live good in good society and be just well taken care of after I'm gone.
What sort of business are you in?
I'm a merchant by trade. I buy and sell things where money can be made. I always keep myself on the right side of the law, of course. I don't get into any black market deals or anything like that, but I have taken some risky routes, you might say. I've been able to connect areas that don't normally trade with one another, not on the realm level anyway, but if you know the right people and you know the right paths and who to speak to and how to act respectfully, I find that you can trade almost anywhere.
Could you say that you family has been doing good with your business and helping the people of Cariele for your existence here last 10 years?
I would say so. I wouldn't say that I've been a pillar of the community or anything here. I'm a merchant, so I buy and sell things, and obviously people have purchased my goods many, many times. That certainly does a good job, and I've been able to take goods made here in Cariele elsewhere as well. So some of the product that is made here has been transferred elsewhere. I would say that I've done well, but I can tell you that if you are in agreement with this plan moving forward, I imagine myself becoming much more of a pillar of the community here. And as I said, investing in projects that you deem appropriate, and we will make sure to make this the best land that we can.
Well, future discussions, I think. We'll have to meet the young lad, but we're also going to have to, we're going to have to do some research ourselves. I think that's justified.
He nods. He says, "That is quite understandable, counselor. I think the meeting with my son, let's place it for after the winter. Sometimes the winter gets quite bad. How about early spring? Is it sound okay if I arrange something in that time frame for the council to meet my son?"
I'll look at Lord Tannen.
Lord Tannen is kind of red in the face and it still looks like he's not very happy. And then he looks at you and gives almost like an angry shrug, like he just couldn't. He doesn't even want to comment.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I'll just kind of give him a, yeah, but, we'll push it out kind of look, whatever that means. So.
Okay, so yeah, seemingly that you guys agree with meeting him in the spring, which, that could be 3-4 months away, depending on weather, right? That's generally when the weather turns, is when they kind of officially call it spring in a sense. So this petitioner seems satisfied with that. If you guys have no other questions for him, he will certainly make his way out. All right, he has exited, and once the doors are closed, you notice Lord Tannin walks back up to you guys very quickly, and he says, "That was absolutely preposterous. He is trying to push his money around and just buy a knighthood, buy a lordship? That is abhorrent."
It seem irregular.
Did that never happen before? Seems like it would have.
I can't say what has happened anywhere in Enweir, but at least here in Cariele, I can't imagine that happening anytime recently. There's not really been lords made anytime recently, and as I said, we don't have a tradition of knighthood here in Cariele. That's a southern thing. That's not really here.
I'm more concerned about what he said, talking about what we could do for him. He was very careful to mention the legal protections associated with lordship. It makes me think that there's something going on that would become important for them. Either they're planning to do something, or they already have, and they're trying to cover their bases.
I agree. I think regardless, we need to look into this family or have somebody look into the family, just so even if we wind up saying no, regardless, right? I just kind of just to make that request kind of makes me on edge.
The word popped in my head was audacity, right? But then I thought maybe this is what people do. They spend money to become lords. I don't know. I'm not a lord.
Lord Tannin shakes his head. No, it's definitely not that. Becoming a knight in the south or becoming a lord here is very rare, and it's only ever dished out or doled out for incredible feats of service to the domain. We're talking about somebody who, on the battlefield, changes the course of a war and wins the war and makes the domain survive. Then the leader of a domain might say, "We're elevating this person to the nobility for their great acts of service," or something of that level. This is life-changing kind of things. You can't go from a commoner to a noble just by pushing coins around.
Fair point. I gave him an out. I asked him if he's done anything, good for the community, and his answer was flat.
I asked what his son has done, and I got the "we promise to be good in the future" kind of attitude, So anyway, I did not want to make any decisions without Lord Tennant helping us. I'm sure it sounds like Lord Tennant, if we did this, we would be out of favor with a lot of the nobility. Would that be correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Very
Nobody
clearly.
would respect that new noble, and they would wonder what you had done and bumped your head into the wall or fallen down the stairs. It's so out of the ordinary.
Well, we're all aligned on that, I'm sure.
You notice Lord Tannen seems to relax a bit. You kind of get the impression that he thought maybe you guys were not fully on board with him, but because you essentially seem to be, he really calms down.
We didn't really want to say as much in front of him, but it does strike me as concerning.
All right, once Lord Tannen has relaxed quite a bit, he will say, "Well, there is just one petitioner left. This is the elvish woman that you've already previously met. Are you ready to meet with her?"
Sure.
All right, he makes his way back towards the door, and as before, he invites her in. And much like before, you notice the strikingly attractive elvish woman enters and has this kind of almost magical sway to her as she walks in. Something very otherworldly, elvish, really about her, obviously being an elf. But you see she does indeed enter, and she will walk up towards the area. You see she scans the gallery and scans around first before her eyes settle on the council. And she says, "Greetings, counselors. It is good to see you once again."
You as well.
Thank you. I hope that your armor is treating you well, counselor.
Indeed, it has saved me many a time.
I am very glad to hear that. I thank you for this time to speak with you. This is going to be very strange, but, well, I guess what I want to ask or explain is, have you come into possession of certain gemstones?
Like, you gotta be a little more specific.
Are we talking like, where I come from, I've heard of magical gemstones, and of course, there's also just the standard gemstones. I've seen a lot of standard gemstones in the mines, so I just need to really understand what you're asking us.
You see, she kind of watches you for a moment, and there's like a 5-second pause after you stop speaking before she speaks again. Yes, magical gemstones, of course. If you had them, you would certainly know it. They're not very hidden, they're quite obvious magical.
Um, what is it about them that you were looking into?
You see, she kind of pauses for a moment again, and she says, I understand that you probably don't fully trust me, and I can tell you that the same is true on my end, but if we can just agree that you have them, then I think this will go much quicker. I'm quite confident that you do have them, but I just wanted to see if you would confirm that.
Yeah, I got one. I got one for sure.
She nods. Okay, excellent. I'm assuming you have 3 in your possession, is that right? Or is it 4 now?
I have to ask, before we answer any of those questions, how are you certain or believe that those have come into our possessions?
She nods slowly. She says, I am the keeper of the stones. My grandfather was actually the one that created them.
Well, just to let you know, I don't have any. So if there's any laying around, think about me.
There
Let me
are
see if I have a
others.
dagger that I could stab Gordon with.
What was that?
Nothing. Don't worry about it, Brian.
There are indeed a total of 6 hero stones. Based on what I've been able to tell, is you had 3 of them, and now you have a 4th, which means there are 2 others. Is this making sense?
Dibs. I call dibs.
Yeah, but we've lost one of them along with our friend.
You did. Okay, interesting. Well, I did not know that. As I said, I am the keeper of the stones, and I have the ability through a specific item to be able to get a vague understanding of where the stones are. So I've always had a rough idea of where they are. I cannot pinpoint where they are, but within a certain range, I know them to be in that area, which is why I was assigned to live here in Cariele from Twerhiaville, and this is why I've been here this entire time, to monitor and make sure the stones didn't move. I could tell that they did move not that long ago, so I'm assuming they're in your possession. You took them south and then came back and took them south again and then came back. So I assume you were probably adventuring in the south. Is that right?
It was more than just 2 trips, but yeah.
You
Adam,
see
just a
Sheena's.
question. Question. How rare are elves in the city? I know this may not have anything to do with this particular storyline here, but
Here in
I'm kind of curious.
Carolinian, you're asking?
Yeah, because I remember you mentioning something at the beginning of the campaign that the elves were kind of skeptical, and and seeing half elves, for an example, was very rare. I believe your character creation thing said something like that. So I'm just trying to get an idea on how rare it is for her to be here.
Rare. There's not a lot of elves that are in Carolinian. I mean, out of total, there might be like 20 in the city. It's a pretty low number considering the city might have 20,000 people in it, but not unheard of. a lot of elves face a lot of like, I guess you could just call it racism from the average Anwirian folks that live here. So they don't feel welcome, generally speaking, in Anwirian lands. So they generally stay to their own lands. As far as half elves, they face the same scrutiny that elves do from humans, but elves generally welcome half elves fully. So yeah, I would say half elves are more common here than full elves, and full elves, yeah, like I say, maybe 20 in the entire city on an estimate.
Okay, cool. Thanks. I just trying to understand the world a little bit better. Thanks.
Sure, yeah, no problem. Good question. All right, so as
Where's
she's
the other one?
well, there are two others. I have a, like I said, a vague understanding of where both of them are. One is quite inaccessible, but the other one, there is potential for you to acquire it, but it would require some dangers for sure. It would be a long and arduous task to acquire it, but if that is something that you're interested in, I can certainly put together some information for you.
Is that why you came here, to kind of maybe give us a heads up where the other one was?
Yes, in part, but that is because I had already ascertained that they're better in your hands than in the hands that currently possesses them. I wasn't quite sure where Rukion was, but when it moved, it jumped. I realized that it was also trying to get into your hands.
Rukion. Oh, is that the name of the gem?
She nods.
See, I'm paying attention.
So you say was trying to get into our hands. Are you suggesting that somehow these gems can think for themselves? I don't understand that.
She nods. Yes, they can. They have a sentience about them. I can't say it would ever be something that would be obvious to anybody else, but yes, there is a driving force behind them, and they seek to come together, but they're usually kept apart.
Hey, Adam. Gordon in his mind is thinking about locate object. I think I need to know the object, like see it. If I were to help, maybe that might help be more specific. So that's what's in my mind. What do you think I'd need to know if I were to try to use a locate object on something I haven't really seen? Maybe, but there might be some that look like it.
So I think locate object, I'd have to read the exact text, but it looks for like common versions of something. So if you say like locate a chair or locate a sword, right, that kind of thing. I think if you were to say locate this specific hero stone and you had never seen it before, I don't think it would work.
Uh-huh. Oh, so it's trying to find us. That's cool.
Well,
What do
I
you
believe
think?
it already did. Did it not? Is it not in your possession?
No, I don't have any. Guys, empty your pockets.
Oh, wow. I have that one, I think.
I can say with quite certainty that there are 4 in the city right now, so I assume that you have possession of all of them. If you do not, then that might be the easiest one to find if you don't have one of those 4.
And the others are out of the city?
Yes, they are quite far away from the city, in fact.
Why
said
would
that-
the stones choose us?
I can't say that they are choosing you. I think they always want to be together. So for quite some time, 3 of them were together here, and the 4th one was out there. Why it did not go to the 3, I don't know. Maybe it's because nobody possessed any of them, so there was no point for it to jump. The other 2 are contained, so they cannot jump.
And you were told to prevent them from moving, right?
No,
Why?
no, I was not told that. My service related to the stones is to make sure they don't fall into the wrong hands. I'm supposed to keep an eye on them, where they are exactly, and report their movements. But other than that, getting them out of the wrong hands and into the right hands is a gray area, let's say.
You don't seem to disapprove of us having them.
I would prefer that you have them, especially the other 2, than who currently has them.
Do you know? You said you had some vague understanding of where they are. Did you
Yes.
know where Rukion was before it suddenly arrived in the city?
Yes, yes, it
Or was it always
jumped.
in the city?
No, it was not in the city. It jumped quite a bit, in fact, very, very far. It was originally in the Spiderfell.
Do you have any idea why the gems seek each other out? Um, what happens if we bring them all together?
That is a question that's been asked for 1,000 years or more. Ever since they were first created, it's the only time they've ever been together. And unfortunately, they were quickly split apart. As you can imagine, these stones have the potential for great power. So once people get a chance to possess them, they rarely want to do what is best for all. They seem to focus on their individual needs, and that split the gems apart.
Well, I have nothing against going on a dangerous adventure. That's always sounds like fun to me. It's better than my card plan.
She nods. Well, if that is something that you're interested in, I said one is quite out of your grasp. It is something that I would not recommend you even attempt to acquire at this point. The other one is also dangerous, but I think with enough finesse, perhaps a little luck, it could be obtained. I will start working on some of those details for you. What I would ask, however, is that if you do manage to acquire all of them and put them together, I would hope you would give me an opportunity to be there and witness what exactly it is that happens and act sort of as your advisor on the use of the stones and explain what else they can do. You may not realize, but they have untapped power, you might say, that can be eked out of them, and I'd be happy to assist you in that matter once they're all brought together.
Excellent. What a great idea.
I must also
Good
ask
time.
that you don't spread this information around elsewhere. If folks know that you have these, the stones do a great job of hiding themselves, but if they know that you have them, they may seek to take them.
Yeah, no, we don't. We want to use them for good together. I think it'd be great if we had them all. See
Yeah,
what
and most
happens.
else can keep a secret. I look at Blixel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She nods. Okay, well, I am glad this went well then. I mainly wanted to give you this information and let you know that I am here and I am a source for knowledge on them. You can call on me as you need to. I would be happy to speak on them to a further degree if needed. If any of you individually want to know more about your stones, feel free to spend some time with me, and I will tell you what I can.
Well, what about now? Hey, Blixel, she's right here.
Yeah, for sure. I
Well,
want to use those stones to fight the abominations.
she nods. She says that is exactly what they were for. That's their exact purpose. So I'm glad to hear that. Learning more about the stones is something that requires a period of meditation and reflection. I'd be happy to show you, but perhaps not now is the best time. It requires calm and quiet and peace to attune or to connect, you might say, to them and really feel the sentience behind the stone.
Well, I'm leaving for a wedding. So that's not in the cards for me tonight.
She nods. I did not suspect so. This is something that is slowly, carefully, melodically handled. But when you have a period of time, perhaps a week or so, that you are free of too many responsibilities, that would be an ideal time to seek me out and we can talk.
All right. I look forward to that.
She nods. Excellent. Well, I'm glad to have spoken with you and make sure you know that I'm here and have this knowledge, and please call on me if you have questions.
I do have one quick one before we part ways, and I think it's all on all of our minds. Um, do you know what happens? Is it possible for one person to attune to more than one of them at once? When we found Rukion, we were concerned about, like crossing the streams. Um, so
You see she pauses for a moment and she says, yes, that is a question that bearers of the Hero Stones have wondered before. I would suggest you don't try that.
Fair
We
enough.
did not.
She nods. Yes, I think that was wise of you.
So Adam, I know that she's hiding something, so my insight check isn't specifically about that. But I want to know if she's flat out lying. Like, these Heartstones aren't for good, they're for bad, and it's like if the sentience would turn us into evil peoples.
Ooh, that's going to be hard to pick up, but
Yeah.
throw me an insight check. Let's see if you roll a nat 20 or something. So I will confirm what you already said. She's clearly hiding stuff, right? Like, you already figured that out yourself, and you know that now based on your check. But no, you don't read anything further than that.
Copy.
She bids farewell to the council and slowly makes her way out of the chambers.
How about that, guys?
How many do you have, Blixel?
I just have one.
Oh, who?
I had one other one, but I switched it out.
I think Serena and Selena both have one.
So we have 3.
Yes.
We have 3.
Yeah, and Vin had
Ben
one.
had one, but he was dispossessed of it. Or actually, no. He was dispossessed of the suppository, the extra life one.
Yeah, why don't we
We
get
don't know
that
what
stone?
happened to his hero stone.
Yeah, and if we want to get them all together, we'll probably have to figure that out at some point.
Thought you said there were 4 here. So it's still here.
Yeah.
There were 3 in the treasury chamber, the secret chamber that was opened by the key. And then
No,
we
I
found
know.
one on the roof.
Okay, so Vin has 1, and you guys have 3. And didn't she say there are 4 in the city?
Yeah.
Math checks
so
out.
then Vin's stone is in the castle.
Yeah, he should be
Did she say
somewhere
that it was
in the
castle?
city.
Was that Celia?
Did she say that it was in the castle or just in the city?
I thought you guys had 4 this whole time, and now I just realized she basically just said, and she's assuming. Oh my god! I thought you guys had 4. I would ask more questions.
No, but we think one's Vince.
Yeah, we don't know where Vin is, but if the stone is in the castle, or in the city, I don't know how good her radar is, then that would be the simplest one to get. She assumed we had 4. Didn't she say that?
She didn't think
Yes,
that we did.
she
Yes.
assumed we had 4.
Yeah. So
So her radar is not that sensitive.
Yeah.
She thought we had all of them together in this room.
Yeah, and there's only 2 left, and one's impossible. One we can get. That makes 6. So, but we only have 3.
Unless Vin is hiding in this room, she looks under her chair. He
He's
snuck
not
out.
there.
It's possible Milena took it from Ben as well.
Right. But also, it tries to get away from bad people, kind of thing, right? Tries to jump to be with these other stones. Okay.
Clearly, something is going to happen when all of them are brought together, but whether that's a good thing for us or a bad thing for us, I'm not quite certain yet.
Hey, but untapped power. You all heard it. She said that. They've got untapped power. We just gotta fight abominations to tap it. Fill up the history books with our stories of triumph.
I keep trying to think what the Emperor says in Star Wars. Unremarkable power or something when he's doing the...
Unlimited power.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Thank you.
Untapped means we can tap. And tap we shall.
All right, guys, so you have finished your petitioner session. You have your domain action to take. Have you guys had a thought about which domain action you would like to take?
Yeah, the undo one. The one that undoes.
Yeah.
We gotta
Seriously,
contest
yeah.
that source.
Okay, sounds like that's what you guys would like to do. So let's go ahead and pull up our rules for contest.
We want to slap down the eyeless one.
Okay, so this costs 1 RP to start. So essentially what you will do is you'll spend your action to contest that source. You'll spend 1 RP, and then once you try that, he gets a chance to spend RP to increase the DC, you know, basically make it more in his favor. And then you have a chance to bid on the other side, and then he gets a chance, so on and so forth. So similar to what we did on your last action, it works pretty similar to that. I already know Blixel said he absolutely does not want to roll. So who else would like to roll first? I'm going to ask for just a blind check to represent the level of effort that the Eyeless One is putting into trying to stop you from contesting this.
Oh,
Maybe I should roll that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Same
Serena,
with
go
that.
for it. Yep.
What kind of a roll was that?
Blind check, please.
Yes. It looks fine.
Nailed it.
All right, so based on that roll, I have a number that the Eyeless One is willing to spend RP to prevent you from contesting. So the base RP is 1. Just doing a quick double check here. Okay, so you guys are trying to contest this source. And let's see, your province level here is a 5. Okay, so the DC will start off at a DC 5 for you guys to be successful. That's having you guys spent 1 RP just to start it. Then as the counter, he's going to spend 12 RP to raise the DC to 17 for you to be successful. Would you guys like to counter bid any more?
How much do we have?
Let's see, pulling up your domain sheet. You guys just spent 1. You have 7 left.
We shouldn't spend it all, because if we spend it all, then we're in trouble.
Yeah. I'd only spent like, well,
3.
yeah,
We gotta
3 or
get to
4.
15 is hard, though.
we gotta get to a 12.
I'd be
like
willing to
12.
spend
So
5.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 additional, so that's a total of 6. All right, so you guys had a DC of 5. He increased it by 12 to 17. You spend 5. That would drop it down to a 12. Are we all in agreement that that's where we left off?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how many Regency points we have left after all that?
2. I
You would
think.
have 2 left.
Okay, copy that.
Okay, so now who would be... he's not spending any additional, so who would like to be the one to make the roll? The DC is 12, so you need to get a 12 or higher for you to successfully contest his source.
Sailing.
Fine.
Yes.
I'm not responsible when we fail, though.
Hey,
So what am I
Nobody-
rolling?
1d20,
Just 1d20.
no modifiers, you need a 12 or higher.
course I
nobody's
can't
gonna blame
portent
you,
it.
but nobody wants to be you.
Yeah, well, we'll see. You know, what's the worst that could happen? You know, I'm gonna call my shot here. I'm gonna roll a 16. Fuck.
Oh my gosh! You suck at these
Unfortunately,
rolls.
Not good enough, and that will be
We
a
all do.
failure.
We couldn't get in the penal. We couldn't. I rolled a 1 once too.
Can we use inspiration?
Not on domain actions, unfortunately.
Our domain rolls just are not good.
All right, guys. So that was your first domain action in the second season. You're down to 2 Regency points. You have 18 gold bars, 500 GP left over in your treasury. So that is completed. So the next course of action would be for you guys too, assuming nothing has changed based on what you've experienced here so far, would be to make your way to the wedding in Thosone. There's like a whole entourage that's prepared and ready to go. You can think of these as like folks that are coming from your castle. These are people like attendants, some guards that's going to escort you to the capital of Thosone.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did we want to meet with Parniel before we left? About the guild thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. I thought we asked him to show up before we continued on with the rest of the petition.
They told you it was going to take like 3 hours to track him down.
I mean, I think that's fine. We'll
Yep,
wait to leave for that, right?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, you guys are still in the throne room then, as you await the arrival of Parniel.
Yeah, can it be 1 hour instead of 3?
No, unfortunately not. Because basically he's got his own tasks and stuff. So by the time you guys get a message out, track him down where he is, tell him he's needed in the throne room, then he prepares himself, all of that, it takes 3 hours before he shows up. All right, but as you guys are there awaiting him, he indeed does show up, and he arrives to the throne room looking much like the last time you saw him. You see he arrives, he's got this very, you could almost think of it as like a very slight smirk on his face. He almost has like a resting want to punch face, right, as he enters and just kind of approaches you all, and he says, "You summoned me? What is it that I can help you with?"
There's a problem.
Oh, do tell.
What are your guys' rules about some of your workers barging into people's houses and using their places to sleep?
We have a village that they've cut. There's some of your union workers have claimed the hospitalities of the local villagers and food, housing, those type of things. And we figure this may be guild business to resolve.
They're out giving you guys a bad name with their actions.
You see he nods slowly. Well, this has happened on occasion. The villages are usually happy to host the loggers. They bring coin to spend in their villages or small towns.
No coin. They're just making it happen without paying.
Commandeering.
I see. Okay. Well, I can certainly speak up the chain about that and see what the thoughts are. But I mean, if this should need to happen, there isn't necessarily enough housing around for all the loggers where they need to move to quickly produce, right? So occasionally this might need to happen.
Well, I mean, the way I've been hearing it, it's happened more than once, and a little coin would go a long way to keep the relationship strong. You know what I'm saying?
And can't they build a cabin or something like that? I mean, that'd probably only take a bunch of loggers. Probably only take them a couple days to build something.
Yeah, but you build a cabin and you're there for maybe a month or so while you're cutting trees down in that area. Then you got to move to the next area, right? So it's not really financially makes sense to keep building cabins everywhere you go. If there's already a village or a town nearby, it seems like it makes sense. Like I said, I will certainly take this up the chain and see if there's anything we can do. I can't make any promises, though.
Great. I want to give him the name of the village that the guy talked about, and to say that they've been not compensated for their hospitality, and this would go a long way to keep the relationship strong between the guilds and the peoples that you are working in.
You notice he looks towards you and says, yes, of course. And then you see he looks at his piece of parchment here and writes a quick note down. He says, I will I'll see what I can do. Is there anything else, counselors?
I'm just visualizing this. That was my patient defense. That's just visually. Punching may not even be hard enough.
Well, cheaper than building cabins is reimbursing those whose cabins you've commandeered, so I'm sure you guys will make the right choice.
You see he puts a slight smile on his face and he says, I hope so as well, General. If nothing else, I shall take my leave.
No, that's fine. Thank you. Yeah.
He nods once again, and you see he slippers on out of there.
I don't know him from Adam, but I do want to get a sense. Well, I guess it's not going to matter, but I'd like to know if he's actually going to do that, in my mind at least.
You can throw a
Insight
blind check to see if you got any kind of read there. I would say you get the impression that he's not feeling very optimistic that anything's going to change.
But I get a sense he's actually going to send a letter out.
You get the sense that he's going to try to at least some degree.
Okay, yep. Kick the can down the road guy, also nicknamed Fist Magnet. Maybe we should write a note to this guy when he comes here in the morning. Say we've let the guild know we got a wedding to go to. Let's go.
All right.
Yeah, you can think of other possible solutions to this problem on the road, perhaps. I'm not sure how enthusiastic the guild is going to be about addressing this.
Well, it's going to take us a week and a half to get back, give or take, anyway. You know, maybe not that long, depending on how long we stay, troubles on the road, that kind of thing. But okay.
Okay, so like I said, you guys will have an entourage for this trip. They are going to take care of most of your what we will call basic needs are. So they're bringing, water, they're bringing food, they're bringing various supplies, they're bringing your fancy wedding clothes. There's a bunch of staff just, kind of doing that whole thing. So you're going to be moving with a fairly large group. I would say you guys plus maybe 20 additional folks between your guards, plus all these staff, these retainers, those kind of folks. Is there anybody in particular, other than all of those folks, that you're inviting to come along with you, or you want to make sure is with you? Okay, hearing nothing. It sounds like you guys are good with the just standard group that's coming along with you. So I will assume you guys get your stuff ready to go, all packed up. You meet your entourage that is prepared and ready for you guys, just waiting for you to basically give the word. And you guys set off. On the first day of travel, you guys are essentially heading north to make your way to Thosone. I'm going to actually move us to the more rough map because that's going to allow us to see a bit more and also let you see the basic road that takes from your capital to theirs. Again, this is a rough map just to give you kind of an idea. Doesn't mean all these lines are 100% accurate, but enough for a good visual. Okay, so you guys make your way from your capital and start traveling in that day's travel. After about a day's travel, you would find yourself getting to the Rude River. This first day is quite uneventful. You're still within your own borders, so no big surprises. There's not much of an issue in this day of travel. It is colder now. Remember, you're truly into the winter season, early winter. So you're looking at 28 degrees as a high, so it's mostly freezing. Your retainers, your entourage has packed like cold weather gear for you guys and for themselves. So you're all bundled up for the most part. It's still miserable being in the cold, and maybe you occasionally get like a flake here or two, but you know, it's not the end of the world. Once you guys get to the river, you can see that there is a actual manufactured bridge that looks to be in pretty good state of repair. When you wake up in the morning and get ready to actually cross that river, first taking some time to eat a meal, get a drink, that sort of thing, you do notice that there seems to be quite a bit of trash, for the lack of a better word, refuse, that kind of thing, in the water and along the shores. So you will hearken back to one of your petitioners who told you that the guilds don't do a great job of cleaning up, or the guild, I should say, doesn't do a great job of cleaning up the work and the spare wood that's cut down, or signs of the workers themselves being here and just kind of throwing trash out. There's quite a bit of debris here in the river. Not that there's anything you can do about it, but it definitely strikes you. You guys continue traveling by then during your second day of travel, crossing the bridge. No issues there. Once you've traveled for about 7 hours or so, maybe closer to the 8 hours, and you're basically getting ready to call it a night, the dark is starting to come down. This is when the about an hour before this, so you're traveling and you start to notice that a blizzard essentially hits this area, and you're all quickly encompassed in this blizzard. It comes down slow at first, but it really seems to be picking up steam. These flakes are just coming down, hail, a lot of wet snow mixed in with it. You're all kind of getting hammered in the face, that sort of thing. You all start setting up tents and that kind of thing as best you can. Your retainers, getting everything ready to go. Once you guys have those set up and you're basically ready to just go in them to try to weather the better of this blizzard, there is a call from some of the retainers. They call you guys forth, and you see as you approach, they kind of turn, and you see there's this young girl here just kind of looking at you guys very pathetically with sad face. And that's where we're going to go ahead and end our session here tonight, folks. So when we pick up next week, you guys will find out what's the deal with this little girl, and how bad is this blizzard going to be here tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. It was a lot of fun. We'll pick up next week and continue it from there.
Yep. All right.
Sounds
Good job.
Bye, guys.
Have a good week, folks. Yep.